There we are there. Okay, so welcome to session 129 or Phase 3, Season 2, Episode 22. We are still on the 16th of the 7th, 1011. I don't believe we travelled for more than a day in the last one. And I will do the online people first. So today we have Jeremy.
Yes, good evening all. I'm playing Dimitros, the Beldaran, humble member from Peasant Oregon that has grown up to take his place amongst the nobility of the now Kingdom of Karamikos. And thanks to his selfless and generous willingness to provide support, advice and information to all that need it.
Don't worry, I'll make him wear that later. Also online today we have Elliot.
Yep, I'm playing Dauphin, the Elven Warlock, who's doesn't feel quite at home in this place where all trees seem to be dead, etc. Well, everything seems to be dead, really. Even people's sense of humour in the town.
We still have one alive goblin somewhere.
That's true. What about him?
We do.
Is he in chains?
No, we've got to find him. The
Right.
one in chains we accidentally killed by healing him.
We probably should. Assuming we don't kill him, we should name him.
That's just going to make it worse when I try to heal him again.
Alright, Dobby or something.
Well, that's what we tried to name the other one, but
Fart buckle.
At the table today we have Martin.
I'm playing a level 12 monk of the Path of the Kenzai. And I've just been schooled on magic items and my bonuses, and I'm still processing that. So
That's okay, you'll get better at it a lot faster than you imagine.
no worries. Thank you.
I still haven't got my characters all set up yet. I like the process.
Also at the table today we have Rhiannon.
I'm playing Hildren, the Air Genasi Ranger Cleric, 6th level in each, who is currently trying to seem in control, but freaking out on the inside due to some explosive spell casting last session.
And lastly at the table today we have Sean.
I'm playing Genric, the High Elf Druid. Definitely has all of his memories and is a very good firecaster and occasionally heals people.
Or kills somebody with healing.
It was the first time he's killed somebody with healing. He's healed somebody with fire though.
Or Souls.
Oh, you healed yourself with fire and then developed wereball.
I may as well detonate the souls here because we can't resurrect them.
Yeah, I do have Exploding Corpse, but I haven't prepared that.
Okay, so in the story they have travelled to Rapanathak, had some fun in Zalkor's Ferry, and then decided to go and wander out into the neighbourhood to find a nice, stable, safe place to build a summoning circle. Because what could go wrong with that?
Yeah.
And in the process of obtaining a perfectly formed keep, they decided to do some landscaping.
I didn't mean it, but once I started, I wasn't wasting the spell slot.
Well, I thought you were going, once I started, I couldn't stop till I knocked it all down.
Well, I didn't do all of it. Dauphin took out the tower with Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, that was interesting.
As I said, slightly freaking out over explosive spellcasting.
And many goblins were killed in the taking of the tower.
Accidentally. Some deliberately, most accidentally.
I think the first one was the only one deliberately. The rest were all accidents.
I don't know, you kept calling lightning down on them.
I called lightning down on the gnolls.
And then there was the one that got liquefied, the one that got liquefied, the one that got
And you're trying to
stabbed.
say that if you had seen goblins instead of gnolls, you wouldn't have put the lightning bolt down?
I mean, they're vermin. I would have probably charged. No, I did kill one other because it was attacking another goblin. And I had the trigger of if a goblin attacks.
There was also the, 7 goblins that got crushed by doors being kicked in?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because of my hill giant strength.
I think it was 5?
Well,
We
hard
had
to,
6
hard,
to track
hard to
down.
tell because it's just this big squished pile.
Because
But I saw 4
I
tracks.
think there was like one that I spooshed 3 of them.
I'm fairly sure I saw 4 tracks, so it might have been 4 of them.
But hey, enhanced strength that just wallops things is always useful.
I think we have 1 or 2 goblins left somewhere in the fort.
And last time we were at it, you were in the jail cells where you had just freed someone
Yes.
by the name of Mortimer.
Do we want to remind people of last session?
You
I
can.
remember holding Mortimer down and putting his fingers back into
Yeah,
place.
that was the last thing we did. Do we want a Dimitri recap?
Dimitri fell down the cliff.
So, Dimitri watched the party destroy a perfect good castle that we come to actually do as a sacred stronghold after deciding not to go to the Mouth of Doom, because you want to find a stronghold first, and then when you got out of sight where he could provide protection and coverage for you, he was coming down the hill to catch up with you.
Yes, and in that time we entered the fort, accidentally killed a whole heap of goblins, found a farmer who had been captured by the goblins, and we're thinking we're going to explore the fort, rest here tonight, and take him back to the village tomorrow, was the discussion. Does that sound about right to everybody?
Yeah.
Yep, sounds about right.
As well, I mean, what kind of time, how long have we been actually active for the day?
Not long,
Probably about 6 hours, roughly.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect.
but we want to explore the keep, see if it's worth trying to set up a
Oh,
base
yeah.
here and find the remaining poor goblins.
Left of it.
We did have a few rooms and maybe another passage. I can't remember. We didn't explore it in the building or
There
anywhere else.
was a couple of nice doors in the corridor that we want to look at. That's right.
Closely.
You have thieves' tools, but you're not proficient in them.
No, I do have proficient, but I've only just acquired the belt of the hill giant strength, so I am inclined to smash down doors.
One of the things we figured out while we were helping AJ build the character is he has thieves' tools and thieves' tools proficiency as well.
Ah, right.
Oh, that's right. I worked out I was really good at finding the traps. I remember that now.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So
right, I
fantastic
cast
at it.
that
It is.
spell
It
as
is
well.
just great.
Or rather, I'm good at finding no traps.
Well, hey, every time you found no traps, there were no traps.
Exactly.
So you successfully found no traps.
And we were resetting the bones, and then we were going to try restoration on Mortimer. I can't remember. At this point, I think we'd just reset the bones, so he was, screaming.
Yeah, I think so.
And you were basically going to have to wrap his hands up to make sure the resetting and the restoration stick.
Well,
'Cause
not
it's easy to
he's
break a
particularly
break.
Useful. It's not like he's particularly useful with his weapon, with his broken weapon, anyway.
Okay, so what would you like to do now that you've spent some time resetting an old man's hands and probably heard him screaming for the last 10 minutes? And I'm sure...
Someone said before they were taking the silence spell.
I do have silence, but I don't know if it's worth it because
Well,
when the
we
other
can
goblins
all-
are hiding.
We can all telepathically communicate, so silence.
Good point.
Unless someone has a ring of mind shielding.
Which isn't activated.
Okay.
I have a charm of mind shielding, but I haven't activated it.
Because you have to do it after a long rest.
Yes, and
And it's
we
either
wanted
on
to
or
use
off.
the
Yeah.
telepathic bond.
Noting that I think that we worked out that basically towards the end of the session, the telepathic bond was expiring. It's only got a 1 hour duration, and hey, are you expecting Dimitri to do it all the time? I mean, obviously you're not going to hear and understand Dimitri all the time, and so he's happy to do it, but
I'm
I
expecting
do have
him
some.
to, but whatever.
I do have some of my charms activated, like the Mask of the White Stag. I also have, just to let you know, I also have Stalking Cat, Stone of Good Luck.
I just imagine you to tell me if it's important. I
Excellent.
don't need
well,
to know everything that
Stone of
everyone's
Good
got.
Luck is important
yeah.
because it gives me a +1 bonus to ability checks and saving throws.
Yeah,
All of
that's the
them.
point is you apply that when you've got to do the test.
But
Not
I
as,
would
not as
always
important
have
for
that
me to know
activated.
unless it's the equivalent of I get a check for secret doors anytime I'm within 30 feet of it.
No, I have
is
to
something
study.
something useful for the GM to know?
I have to study an area to be able to do that. Or is that a Seika thing? I'll check my feeds later.
Okay, so yes, you have spent some time resetting his bones and dealt with the screaming and crying and blubbering.
And wrapped his hands.
I think. I don't. Are we all around for this, or I probably wandered off?
Well, I assume you were because I believe Genric was doing it and enjoying each moment.
Yeah, probably true.
Yes.
I believe he was helping.
Yes.
He didn't help with the rest of the goblins. He was too busy collecting spices from the kitchen.
Which are now in the party inventory. And yeah, we haven't talked about the gold that we're aware
What
of.
gold? There's no gold. We didn't find any.
I think 3 of the party noticed it.
At least, yeah.
Okay, and with that, you've been down here probably about half an hour at this stage. It's definitely starting to get dark by the time you get up. But hey, you've all got dark vision, so you don't really care about that aspect.
Yeah, as long as I'm wearing my mask, I'm good. So that one's pretty much auto-prepared.
Yeah, I guess if we're going to spend the night here, we probably want to maybe flush out anything that's a risk.
We wanted to investigate around, and then we wanted to, which will hopefully find us goblins as well as learn what's around, and then yeah, find a good place to rest. Okay, so I mean I can look around, but mine's mostly probably going to be, what's my skill? What's my specialization in perception? No, that's not going to help me. I mean, I'm happy to look around. I probably be relying on perception or insight, so it's probably going to be something feels like it's interesting over here. Because
I can guide you and provide moral support.
So, like, my passive perception is 26, but I don't know how useful that's going to be trying to search a place. If anyone has
if
good
you're going around deep
investigation,
researching it, then it's more going to be a investigation type stuff. But
Investigation is to generally find stuff. Passive perception is to say, do I notice a tripwire or
so I'm
something
walking
out of
around
place?
trying to notice, or relying on my senses to notice possible goblin traps. Not necessarily looking, because I trust my senses.
the point is, considering how much of the castle you've destroyed,
I
how much does
destroyed
it look like there is left to
battlements,
explore?
not the castle.
Well, you haven't. You're still on the ground floor. You haven't gone up one level.
I
So it
destroyed-
has been
Okay,
Americanized. So ground floor is first floor.
Yeah. So, and how big was the keep on the outside? Like in the
Probably
sense that-
about
and we-
200-300.
We bought all the ground floor or the third floor?
The structure itself is about
we have-
300 feet in width. The area, the inner keep, is probably about just over half of that, and you've only looked down one side of that.
We've
on
only
the
looked
first
down.
floor.
We've looked at
Yeah.
a dining room
Mhm.
and a basement.
Mhm.
That's it. So
Yeah.
there is a lot of castle to explore.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
Unless people feel like they want to actually, they're feeling too tired, then there's no reason not to at least continue to explore the keep.
do we want to?
Yeah, I definitely think we should explore before settling down as well.
Oh yeah, explore. I was wondering, do we want to stay as a party together or split up? If all we're aware of is goblins, I don't think they're particularly much of a threat. So if we wanted to do pairs exploring different parts of the castle.
I mean, if you want to go down the pathway, you certainly can, and hey, we can remain in communication.
So is Dimitri casting telepathic bond again?
Well, it was a good question, and hey, he's here to help.
Cool. So what do the rest of you think? Do we want to explore as a group, or do we want to split up to cover more ground?
We can cover more ground.
Well, no, I'd say group. Because repent, I don't know how you pronounce it.
Repanathac.
There you go.
I'm learning.
Is generally a killer dungeon.
We're not,
We're not
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Repanathac though.
but
But
it's the area.
It's the area. So, yeah.
I would also
If we're gonna-
agree.
I was going to say, if we're going to split up, maybe in half rather than in pairs.
Yeah.
Well, they've also the question of, irrespective of what we think or believe about the area we're in, and what we've seen so far as the opposition, is it ever considered appropriate to split the party unnecessarily?
No,
We've
I'm
already
happy
done
to
that.
not. We did that at the village. I'm happy to not. I just thought I'd raise it as a possibility.
I mean, we also did it here. You left Genrick in the kitchen and Dimitri on top of the cliff.
We told everybody where we're going. Dimitri decided to stay on the cliff, hoping not to get covered in grime, and then sliding down the thing. Genrick got distracted in the kitchen and didn't follow the rest of us.
And we got spices from it.
Yes, I am very happy with that.
It's
So,
all salt.
we've got... So, if we've only been travelling for 6 hours, we've probably been awake for 7. So, we've still got a few hours before we're going to get tired.
You do.
And are we going to take the farmer with us and drag him around?
Or of course you can send him with his damaged hands to walk home. I'm sure nothing will go wrong with that.
No, we're going to keep him here. It's just, are we going to leave him here and trust that the goblins aren't going to find him?
We
Or
put him
nothing's
back in
gonna
the
attack him.
prison cell. It's the safest place for him. The goblins didn't hurt him in there.
You can convince him of that.
He just looks at you in horror.
Well, I guess, would you prefer to be behind some steel bars or out in the open?
Yeah. He says, I prefer not to be locked up again.
We could make a table for him.
There's nothing stopping him walking around, is there? It's only his hands that are injured.
It was his hands that are injured, yes.
Hey, do we have a key for that cell?
Not yet.
Ah, okay.
You never looked for one.
And one of the first things Hildren is going to suggest is finding a way up the battlements and checking the bodies.
Well, there's
I was
only
gonna say,
one
'cause-
on the battlements.
The gnolls. The knoll that's left. The one knoll that I shot with an arrow. Thought process. The other.
Well, I guess
The other
so.
thought.
He's got the option of following us and potentially setting up traps if he wants.
The other thought I had, Druid's Grove. The spell you've got.
Yes.
How long does it take to set up, and does it have to be set up on dirt and stuff, or can we set it up on stone?
That's a good question. I do think it needs to have plant life nearby for it to work. Because a lot of the wording specifies that you control the plant life and make it grow.
Definitely no plant life inside the castle grounds.
It specifies outdoors or underground. Buildings and other structures are excluded from the affected area. If you cast a spell in the same area every day for a year, it lasts until dispelled.
Could we do it in the courtyard?
Probably.
Would that give us a safe space where we can...
I can fill it up with fog. If there's no plants, I can't do the other effects. And the other effects are the parts that make it comfortable and safe for
And
us.
we can't, like, druid craft some plants and then expand on that?
The ground is covered in sludge. I don't think the plants are going to grow. I also don't have druid craft.
I do.
Wait a minute. Drew doesn't have druid craft.
And our ranger does.
He is a walking fire. Why would he need to make more flammable things?
So he can burn
Oh.
more things?
He
Somehow I'm gonna do a
last
craft
time
as well,
he
which
set
is
the
weird,
forest
but sure.
on fire.
I'm just trying to think of ways we can create safe spaces.
I can make a giant earth dome for us.
I was going to say, if we can find a key, we could lock him in it and give him the key.
But we can all just get on the flying carpet and go 100 foot up and,
Well, not
and,
entirely.
and have a sleep.
Yeah.
I believe 4 if you can.
Oh.
Well, why don't we continue to explore the castle, everyone together, including our new friend here, and when we find a nice comfortable room that can be more carefully sealed, then perhaps our friend might have a rest in that location.
Okay.
Understandable. You don't want to go back to a empty, dirty, manky cell.
We could
But
lock
that's
it in the
not the only
bathhouse.
place that can be
It would be
secure.
worse, I think, based on the smells coming out of it. It would. I feel like the bathhouse would be another place where if you sent flame into it, it would explode like the Sturge Cave.
I feel like even without the explosive gases, it would still explode, considering what's happened in the
So
last
magic.
half an hour.
So my suggestion is, I think we've got one goblin body and one gnoll body. Should we try and search the bodies, or just start exploring and rely on It's just, do we want to search the bodies and try and find the keys, or do we want to rely on Trellin to get us through doors? Considering we've watched Trellin destroy 2 big doors, and you've been telling me off for destroying things.
Well, he was just taking the lead from the idea of, hey, everybody saw the doors, not whole walls and towers. But doors have never been a problem.
The other thing I could do is locate object. I have to have seen the object before, haven't I? I can't just say locate some keys.
You have to know what keys you're looking for, otherwise if you say locate keys, you'll locate the closest keys that you remember.
Yeah, no, okay, so that wouldn't do.
You locate your car keys in the extra dimensional plane, known as IRL.
Cool.
And they have to be within range, so if she doesn't remember any keys that are within range, then she won't find any keys.
Okay, so what do we think? Explore castle, kick in more doors, or pick some locks, or check bodies in the hopes of finding keys?
Could we take the farmer back to his farm?
No, that's mean we'll have to come back here tomorrow.
Have we found any lock so far? Well, is there anything? Let's just explore, and if we come across something that's causing problems, we'll work out how to get past it.
Yeah, I'm up for exploring first.
Does Dimitri as a rogue have thieves' tools or knock as a wizard?
The meeting suggested that doors have never been a problem in the past.
Okay, well let's explore.
He's never really been the critical role failure with doors.
Okay.
If none of the doors are locked.
Yes, doors are not. That was only the first season. Chairs for the second season.
Tables. In the
Yes.
third one.
The third one was chairs and tables. And a sword.
Though I do remember having half an hour of players trying to figure out how to get in a door because they kept talking about how they were shoving the door open until they realised it was a pull door.
Well, that doesn't matter if Trollin kicks it at the moment. Okay, so as we're going, I'm jotting down a map as we go, because that's what I'm doing everywhere we're going at the moment. As we don't seem to be able to get maps to Rapanathak, and
As
my
your-
passive perception is up.
As you're back up on the base level, you can see the 3 goblin urinal rooms, or guest rooms as they are. I'm sure it'll be one of your rooms down the track.
Isn't that what prestidigitation's for?
Yeah, but some smells you just can't get rid of no matter how hard you try.
That they're all open. Was there was a door that looked more solid that was locked?
There was a
if I
door
remember.
that was more solid that is locked.
Shall we try and unlock it?
That is completely up to you guys. The GM doesn't answer that for you.
I was asking them.
That's me pointing out to the others you need to answer.
Yeah.
Let's go on to.
Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, I can't remember if there was 1 or 2 in this side of the castle that we didn't look in.
So we had the
The
doors.
Dimitri will have a look for traps on the door before he opens it up.
So we had the entryway with the now broken double doors.
Mm-hmm.
That led to there was doors on the end, like at the end of the entryway.
So
And 2
through
corridors
the
branching
entryway,
off.
there were a T-intersection with corridors going either way, with a door in the north wall that both went into the dining area, and 2 doors and a corner door on the southern wall.
Which was
And
where
the
we
corner
went.
was where it went around to the dining area, and you went one way.
Okay.
So
and
basically, you hadn't really gone in those rooms.
the stairs, was that the stairs, were they behind a door?
The stairs were not behind a door, but they were all the way around to the kitchen dining area.
So we've got 1 door. Sorry, I'm drawing. We've got 1 door on the corner, and then 2 doors. Are they coming off here?
Came in here, went around there, went in there.
Okay, cool. So we've got 3 doors
Genric
on the
was
southern
in
corridor.
there for quite a while.
So So we've got.
And that was where you killed most of the goblins.
So we've got 2.
Who weren't wearing anything.
So we've got 2 unexplored doors on the south corridor. Was one of them the locked one?
Yes.
The one closest to the entryway, or the one?
The one on the corner.
The one on the corner. Okay. Gonna have to get you to give me that map later. Once we've explored the castle. And there were 3 doors on the northern corridor.
3 doors heading north on the western corridor. Western side of the kitchen.
So there's 3 doors on. There was 3 doors one way and 3 doors the other, 2 of which are guest rooms.
Well, technically you don't know what's on the other side of the dining kitchen area because you never looked down that side.
So 2 of the doors on the south corridor are guest rooms. One of them is a locked door. And then we haven't explored the north corridor yet. Okay. So, and the other 2 doors were the guest rooms. Okay. Do we want to hit the locked door?
Yes!
Yeah.
I don't mean hit in that way.
What?
Now that we have our wizard/rogue, would he like to have a go at unlocking the door?
Yeah. The Victory will have a listen at the door and have a look and see if you can find your tap at the door. Roll badly on perception, so you've only got 34.
And my passive perception is alert for dangers.
Okay, so Dimitri knows that the door is secured. Doesn't appear to be trapped because, hey, he would want to put a trap where he's going to go. That'd just be crazy. And that he believes it is secured with a chain on the other side, based on the noise of him rattling the door.
So, and not a lockpick thing.
Okay. And he then effectively reached through the gap in the door with the pick to remove it to deploy the chain.
Well, there is a lock on the door and there is a chain on the other side.
Oh, okay. Is the lock locked at the present time?
The lock is locked.
Okay, we will set the to pick the lock. 31.
Okay, so there's a nice little clicking sound that sets everyone on edge as he unlocks the door.
Yeah.
But of course, that's normally the sound you get when a trap goes off.
So we wait a second and there's no acid or poison gas or anything?
Not yet, but expectation to come.
Okay, well, I do want to spare the dying in gentle repose, so if anybody gets killed, we can deal with that.
And then Dimitri will open the door a little bit with the chain, and then you make hand to undo the chain.
Okay. Unfortunately, your mage hand is not strong enough. The chain is too heavy.
Happy to chain? I was thinking about getting the door chain, but you're saying it's chained.
As you look, the links are thicker than your fingers.
Does it look like it pulls up, or does it look like, you know how on doors now you have the little slide and the chain drops, or does it look like it's just on a hook?
Well, it looks like it's wrapped around beams.
Can I do a heat metal and then just hit it with a weapon?
You can. How hot do you want to make it? Hot enough to burn?
Soften up the metal. Not hot enough that it's going to burn if somebody touches it.
Okay.
That's how hot I need it to be.
I mean, I've got my
Not
flying
hot enough
match.
that it sets the wood around it on fire. If there is any wood.
Well, you can basically pick a link and heat that, because it's one metal object, though technically the chain is an object, so you could heat the entire chain.
I would like to do an individual link that is accessible by somebody sticking like a sword or a dagger through the door.
I mean, I have my hand axe.
Or that. One that is visible when the door is pushed open to see the chain.
Yeah, I have my hand axe or I have my scimitars, so I'm happy to hit it with something.
So, looking at the chain, you can see the heat rising off the link. And now the link's getting a little shinier than the rest of the chain as you're burning off all the imperfections.
Trellin, would you like to break the link?
Just so you know, the target becomes oven hot. Any creatures touching it take fire damage. Until the spell ends on subsequent turns, you can use a bonus action to inflict the same damage. If they're holding or wearing it, they must make a Constitution saving throw or drop it. The creature cannot drop it. It has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until their next turn. And you can overcast it to increase the damage it does, but you're not going to make it forge hot. Heat metal no longer goes forge hot.
Okay.
It just goes oven hot, which means you can get it to about maybe 200-300 degrees.
But that's not going to be that weaken it.
But I can just smash it.
Can we see what the chain is attached to?
Is the door open
guess-
enough?
The other option is straight after that we can blast it with frost or something, and maybe hopefully thermal shock it.
Or if Trellin can get his hand or hands in, he could, pull.
Would Trellin like to break it?
Yeah.
So that would be a athletics check. I'm talking about the chain, not the door, Jeremy.
Yeah, but actually, but the military side, they're just suggesting, are we not looking for a place we can secure?
Yep.
What's your athletics result? Oh. I'm assuming you're an axe, not white person.
Only 16.
Okay, so apparently you were waiting for Jeremy as you were just testing the chain for what Dimitri was saying, so you didn't actually break it at this point.
Okay.
But hey, you're sure you've actually managed to
Weaken it a little?
move it a little bit. You've got some wiggle room in there. So if you had a crowbar, you would definitely snap it fairly easily.
I have a crowbar.
You get advantage on your athletics.
Oh yeah, I've got one of those.
I know you do. But I was doing the simple thing. Does this mean you're going, I've got this, and pull out a crowbar?
Yeah, I'll do that. And so that's with advantage.
Yep.
And that's 26.
Okay, you hear a wrenching sound as one link snaps, because that's what you're trying to do.
Okay.
And then the chain just starts to fall with a loud clatter, like multiple drum beats echoing around the corridors.
Okay.
Why did I not think of the crowbar earlier?
Because most people don't.
I have it specifically for immovable rod.
It's also there for opening doors. That's the main use adventurers use it for.
Yeah, no, in my head it's my immovable rod, so I wasn't thinking of it.
Okay, so yes, after a bit of, a lot of sound, you are able to push the door in and get in there. It is about a 35-foot by 35-foot six-sided room.
Six-sided room.
Okay.
So each side, it's not each
And
side
any
is 35.
traps?
No.
It's the
Yeah, a cross section is 35 by 35. And you see a ladder on the far wall. Amusingly, the description does not match up to the map, so I'm sort of modifying things on the fly.
Does the ladder actually go up to anything, or is it just a ladder?
Looking up, you can see a trap door up there.
Where's the
Ah,
ladder?
it's a trap.
Where's the ladder?
On the far wall. This looks like it's a guard tower. Doesn't look like there's anything inside to help with guarding, but there is a ladder.
Does it go up to the battlements, do we think?
You believe it goes up to the next level.
Okay. Do we want to go up, or do we want to explore, try and finish off this floor before we head up?
Yeah, I'm thinking 4x4 makes sense, but I don't know what anyone else
So,
thinks.
so how was the chain attack secured?
It was attached through loops on the back of the door to loops on the wall, so it was secured from the inside.
Yep.
Looks like the goblins haven't been in here.
Is there a lock or something on the end of the cane so the cane can be removed from the door, the inside?
There was a simple loop there, yes.
Okay. Dimitri will start mending on the cane to repair the broken link, and then remove the cane from the loops on the door.
Yep. So you now have a heavy chain with.
No. Leaving the cane behind, it's the idea that now the door can be re-secured.
Oh, you're not wearing it?
He's into heavy metal, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is it a big gold pimp chain?
No, it's an iron chain.
So, once we've checked out everything else, this is actually a reasonable place to possibly hole up, depending on what's upstairs.
Well, it appears that whatever was upstairs was holding off the inhabitants of the ground floor.
Okay, shall we head to the other... As I said, do we want to explore this floor fully, or do we want to head up and then come back down? Remembering that we're still trying to find 1 or 2 goblins. And they tend to go down to hide.
I want to clear out this floor.
I'd like to go down floor.
Have we found any evidence of a basement area below the ground floor?
Other than the one we've just been in?
That's where the prisoners were.
Okay. Have we found any evidence that the basement extends from the prison?
You have not.
Okay.
So, yeah, we haven't checked down the other side though.
But
Yeah,
I
no,
do
that's
know
right,
that there's... Because I saw 6 tracks leaving the dining room,
Mm-hmm.
and I only saw 4 tracks heading down to the basement.
Okay.
So if we go back to the dining room, I can try and pick up... the
Presumably
two tracks.
the remaining 2 goblins have run off by now, having not wanting to be anywhere near this destruction of the tea. Okay, yep. If we finish looking at the ground floor, then we can come up and have a look at the thing.
If we go back by the dining room, I can probably see if I can pick up the tracks of the remaining 2.
Okay, so you get to roll with disadvantage because there is so many overlaying tracks now.
And it is survival, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I have tracking as one of my specializations, so it's straight roll because I have advantage on my specialization. So it's a 1 dice.
Okay, so it'll be 1 dice.
And plus 7 for wisdom. Actually, with
When
proficiency,
I'm
it's
on the
plus...
internet,
Is it plus proficiency plus?
that sounds like some sort of meat.
When I'm proficient with it, it is plus proficiency plus wisdom modifier?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I roll plus 11.
Hey, buddy.
I didn't roll great, so 16.
Looking around, you don't know whether from the actual dining area that the tracks are just so confused.
Yep. Okay.
So many people have been in here. You can follow Genrich tracks quite easily.
So, survival.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use that?
You'd like to try to follow the tracks?
Yep.
Okay, so that would be disadvantage for you.
So that would be 27.
Okay, you managed to pick out some prints under other prints.
Okay.
If he points them out, can I take another roll?
Well, he's following them at the moment.
So
Alright.
can I look at the tracks that he's following? See
You
if I
can.
can find them? Do I have advantage this time or still disadvantage?
Still disadvantage because there's a lot of footprints over the top of it.
Okay. Are they heading down the corridor?
Where?
They're heading towards the entryway.
The entryway.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Have these tracks been made within the last hour?
Yes.
The ones he's following, no.
No.
So
The
let's just keep exploring the ground floor. If we come across 2 random goblins, well, we'll do it from then. But they've run.
Yep. Sounds about right.
okay.
Oh, because I keep forgetting. If anyone wants guidance, let me know.
Yeah, let me know too. It's one of my cantrips as well. And actually, I've got prepared enhance ability if we need it. And bless.
Yes.
Okay, so you walk past the armory that you've looked in a few times.
Which one is that? The
That's the so you've got on the left you've got the corner door. That's right on the corner for the tower, and the room between the tower and the entryway is the armory
is that on the south side?
On the southern side of the passageway.
Yeah. So one of those. So we've got locked door, guest room, armory. Locked door, armory, guest room.
You've got tower, armory. It's only armory, and it's only one door on the southern wall of that corridor.
Okay. So shall we check that out? If it's an armory, is it locked?
It was open last time you looked in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Shall we investigate and see if we can find anything interesting in the armory?
Yes.
Yep.
Do we all want to have a look?
Yeah.
See if who rolls highest?
I'm investigating with a 4.
You can guarantee that there's a room there. That's about it.
How big is the room?
I got a natural 1.
This room is empty.
And it's an armory where you store your arms, right? Spare arms.
I got 4.
It's about 30 east-west and about 15 north-south in diameter.
And then we can rely on Dimitri to
22.
get 30.
22. Okay, looks like Genric is the one who pays most attention to the weapons for some strange reason.
Dimitri, you gonna do it?
This is
Dimitri's happy there's more than enough people in that room.
We all failed. Well, I got a natural 1 and everybody else rolled reasonably low.
And Genric is commenting on the weapons none of the others have even gotten around to noticing yet. As there's a whole bunch of weapons designed for small creatures.
I go, ooh, shiny.
4 spears, 4 short swords, 4 shields, hundreds of arrows. Oh, around 100. He's not really counting each one. And 2 of them seem to be hung for decoration.
So it was 4 shields, 4 spears.
4 short swords,
There's 2 arrows hung for decoration.
2 shields for
Oh.
decoration.
Any bows for the arrows?
There is a box that Genric does notice.
Are the
I'll
2
open the
decorative
box.
shields as well as the 4 shields, or is it 4
They
in total?
are in addition. He opens the box. It's full of wood. Carved wood, but wood. Ripe for burning.
Just remember that for later.
Resist the urge.
There's also bits of metal in there too, but hey, I'm sure you can repurpose those.
So, it's the wood and metal isn't weapons. It's just wood and metal.
Give me an engineering roll.
Oh yeah. Where'd I put the desk? There it is. I rolled an 8.
Are you proficient in engineering?
I don't think so.
What is your wisdom?
My wisdom. That's plus. That's not right. You think something plus 5? It is plus 5. That should be higher.
13.
That should be a plus 7. Why are you rolling? 13.
Okay, looking at it. Yeah, you're sure it's a weapon of some kind, you just have no idea what it... You just can't figure out what all the pieces go together.
And none of us are trained in engineering.
Well, he hasn't shown anyone.
No.
Everyone else is so busy contemplating the
Ooh,
floor.
shiny.
Hey guys, I'm pretty sure the door's not trapped.
Do we
You mean the one word gone through?
do we have plates for cake? Is that
Yep.
what that's for?
Yeah.
We can get plates.
I don't mind either way. I just thought I'd get it.
We put them out for people who wanted chips, but you can use them for plates if you want
I don't mind.
Well, there's 3 of them.
That's
Well,
it.
one for
Amazing.
Martin. There is a small piece for Martin.
to. I have a small plate.
Some of the cream came off. I'll take that one. With spoons?
We do have spoons in the top drawer.
Sweet. And as I said, there's a piece here for Ariane.
Yeah, so looking at it, you just don't have any idea what purposes those pieces go together for. But you're sure it's a weapon.
Okay.
I assume you're moving on at that point. I'm going to get a smaller one. That's too big for me.
Yes, I have a small one. Can I have that?
Can you pass that over, please?
If this is too big, just leave some, I'm sure. Ariadne won't want it.
So there's nothing else of particular interest that strikes us out of in the room.
No, there's no other exits or entrances.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And no one's told you of anything interesting in the room.
I walk
I
out of
think
the
I'm just
armory.
looking at goblins.
Yeah, move on.
Okay, as you're walking past the entryway, Trellin and Hilderon notice fresh tracks leading outside. Looks only about maybe 20 minutes old.
Ah, okay.
Can we tell from the tracks what it is?
Looks like goblin boots.
Okay.
Let's go.
Shall we
Has the
follow the
farmer
goblin
been
boots or
following
keep
us?
going?
Well, they went south out of the keep.
Do you really want to try and follow them? Now they've run away?
Genrick wants to get them all.
I was asking about the farmer.
Quite the set.
I mean,
Did the farmer take some goblin boots and then walk out whilst none of us were looking?
No, he's still with you.
Okay.
And plus, he didn't come from the eastern passageway. That's where the fresh tracks came from.
The farmer was waiting outside the room with Dimitri while you guys stumbled around in the armory.
I'm sorry, that was the first roll I'd made with that dice.
Obviously, you're now going to roll better because you generally can't roll worse than a 1. You can
No.
re-roll a 1, but the likelihood of it happening is quite low.
I need to bring my dice jail.
What you should jail is anytime you roll a 20 on a dice, you should jail that one because it's unlikely to roll a 20 straight away
Ah.
True.
based on mathematical probability.
No, because everything doesn't rely on
That's right.
previous
roll 20 20 in a
scores.
row. It's still a one in like a 5%
1 in
chance of
20,
rolling another
1 in
20.
Yeah, but the odds of rolling 2 20s in a row seem to be a lot lower than rolling other numbers.
No, that's
But that's
incorrect.
different. No, incorrect. The odds of rolling 2 20s in a row is 1 in 400. The odds of rolling a 20 after you rolled a previous 20 is 1 in 5.
Yeah.
Because the first 20 has already happened, it's going to be down to a 1 in 5. So 1 in 20, sorry.
Yeah, 1 in 20.
Yeah. Like a 5%, but 1 in 5, yeah.
Okay, so
Anyway, that could roll.
Sorry, that we went on a mathematical detergent.
when some dice
Well,
are just weighted back.
Dimitri was explaining the laws of probability.
I'm sure Dimitri's dice roll 20 and 1 in 5 chance, though.
Hey, I have some players who will
No, they're
roll
not,
one in 4. It's always funny when you hear them yell out as they throw their dice across the room. Sometimes you can even hear the dice bouncing off the wall.
Okay, so there were more. There's another door past the armory door, was there?
On the other side of the entryway, there is another door on the southern wall.
Okay.
You have not been there
Dimitri was
yet.
looking at that door while having got annoyed at watching the tumbling through the armory.
The door has lots of handprints all over the front of it.
Is this still in the southern corridor? Or?
This is in the southern corridor.
Like goblin-sized handprint.
Goblin-sized handprints at waist height. And this is the southern room on that side before you get to the corner.
Okay. Yeah. A decent.
I am noting it down as the goblin handprint door.
17. 32 on perception to listen at the door and look for traps, etc.
Okay, so you can smell the prints from where you are on the door, listening in to absolutely nothing on the other side that you can hear.
And there are no traps on the door. Is the door locked?
You're sure the handle is covered with some sort of goblin sludge, so you consider that a trap.
I would consider that a trap.
In order to ensure the tanks remain clean, then we'll find Mage Hand to turn the door handle.
Are we with Dimitri at this point? Or?
I believe you are, because he said he was traveling with the group.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so as you open it up, you see a room about the same size as the armory, about 5 feet shorter in length.
Square?
And there is a lot of broken furniture here and shattered crockery, and a rope against one wall attached to a pulley running up through a hole in the ceiling.
So you're going in?
What does
Yeah,
it
let's
smell
go.
like?
What does it smell like?
Mm-hmm.
Worse than unwashed children.
You can go in.
So was the work going up into the ceiling or going down to the floor?
Up into the ceiling.
Okay. How big a hole in the ceiling? Can we see what's up there?
It's big enough for a small creature to easily go through or a medium-sized creature to squeeze through.
Okay. And can we see what's on the other side?
No, you can't, because it's on the far wall, and you're not actually on the far wall.
Okay, that's exciting. Can I do anything otherwise?
Lots of crockery, broken crockery on the
Yeah.
floor, and shattered
Yeah.
furniture. So not exactly empty, just not occupied.
Yeah, that's right. So we two will go in, avoiding stepping on the crockery and the papers.
And there is a
but then-
kaboom as he steps in. He gets to make a dexterity saving throw.
24.
Okay, Dimitri just rolls out of the way as shards of crockery go flying towards the rest of the party, who then get to make a dexterity saving throw with advantage. Even with advantage, I'm sure someone won't make it.
What's it?
Dexterity saving throw. with
Dexterity saving throw. That's my best one.
I've got +7.
So are these guys of crockery coming up from the floor, or are they new crockery coming from somewhere else?
advantage. Up from the floor
24.
Okay.
With advantage?
with advantage.
28.
19.
29.
29.
Stone of good luck. Must remember.
14.
Okay, so Dauphin and and Genric both take 4 points of slashing damage as they have shards of crockery embedding their skin. Apparently they zigged when they should have zagged, and that's a successful save. So Dimitri feels it's a goblin version of explosive runes he stepped on.
Okay.
Technically, I don't have fine traps anymore, so I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have sensed that.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like it was a trap anyway. Not it was obvious, right?
No, fine traps can find magical traps. Anything that will damage our party.
Well, you can find magical traps with standard perception too. But people there say, well, obviously not got hurt. Like, what could it be worthwhile buying that?
No, I'm fine. I got no damage. I'm good.
And so, but it's a instant thing, and then the crockery all settles down again, does it?
Yes, the crockery all settles down again, and you can see what appears to be a goblin smiley face where the explosion set off.
I like that.
Don't step there.
Well, you're sure it's safe now.
Roll decently.
And so Dimitri will then go forward and have a look at the rope and look up at the hole in the ceiling.
If Dimitri doesn't, Dimitri doesn't seem to set off any more traps, Hildren will go as well. More just.
Okay, looking up there, you don't really see much, but you do see there is a ceiling, so there is a floor up there that's still sealed. Obviously, it's not part of the castle you blew up. But no light sources are coming from there.
Yeah. But you said there was a pulley system on the road?
There is. Give me an insight roll. Make an engineering roll.
Oh, that's nice. The D20 wasn't as good as it had been, but the D4 made up for it. 13, 28.
Okay, you identify the pulley system as the remains of a dumbwaiter.
Yeah. The thing obviously there's no block actually to pull up anymore.
Looks like it's been long broken off.
Yeah, okay. Yes, it would appear that this was the butler's corner designed to lay out food to take to those upper level. While the crockery and the furniture's here. But, hey, I don't think we're trying to squeeze up through that hole right now.
I don't hear anything upstairs, do I? Like up through the hole?
For a minute there, I thought you were saying, I don't hear anything Dimitri says.
Yes.
I wish. We're telepathic bonding right now.
He started a new
You
one?
like more?
Yes. Yes, I know.
In which case you get a lot of extra details on history of the dumbwaiter.
Can I listen to see if I can hear anything?
Sure, with disadvantage while you're listening to the history of the dumbwaiter.
Can I tell Dimitri to shut up?
You can, but it's unlikely to help. Am I correct on that one, Jeremy?
Hey, lots of people have tried before.
Dimitri, quiet so I can listen.
Hey, he's not saying a word.
He's thinking it.
In your mind.
Right.
If you possibly can, quiet your mind.
I don't think that's possible.
Why would you want to?
You have to see this.
Natural 1 or natural 20?
On both.
Oh.
I have to take a photo of that one.
So disadvantage, natural 1.
No, both die.
Oh, well, both of them are natural 20s.
Are natural 20s.
In which case, it was meant to be.
Hopefully, I don't get nothing.
You take in the full, unwashed goblin scent as it goes right through your body, permeating your nostrils, realizing that they
she
have...
got a 20.
She did. So she got to get the entire essence of goblins going throughout her. They've obviously spent a lot of time here.
I'm shuddering a bit.
And you get a faint echo of their laughter of when they were here last. And the breaking of crockery.
Alright, but I don't hear anything upstairs.
No, nothing upstairs. But you're sort of having this slight twitch to the smell and the...
I am getting out of the room as fast as possible. I say to Dimitri, it's fine, I'm out.
Okay, we're fine.
I just wasted 2 natural 20s. Oh well.
Not a waste. You got to experience goblins.
Mm.
You can still taste them on your tongue.
My dislike for them has increased. Okay. So
moving around to the corner room, you can see many a goblin print is on this door.
can I sniff?
Even
smell like the previous room?
a little worse because you believe they've also urinated on it too.
I'm not going in that one.
But hey, goblins aren't known for their finding a place to pee. It's wherever they are at the time seems to be appropriate.
You guys are welcome to explore it. I'm not touching that room. I am not going in it.
Well, but they're also completely unknown to get diseases from whatever they do. So they could literally eat diseased meat and think it's tasty. So, does this mean Dimitri's up to check the door?
I'm not touching it.
You take another door to look at, then Dimitri's happy to listen at the door and check the door.
I'm standing 5 feet away.
Mm-hmm. You can still smell it from there.
I know, but I'm standing 5 feet away. Fighting the urge to walk further away.
23 on perception.
Okay, you can hear a faint whistling sound coming from inside that room.
Does it appear to be or does it sound like a tuneful or rhythmic whistle, or does it just sound like wind going through a gap in a wall type stuff?
Sounds like wind going through many gaps in a wall.
Yeah, okay. But I didn't notice any taps on the door.
You saw that there's lots of handprints and goblin pee on the door.
Okay.
Not quite where you're listening at, but the lower half of it is completely caked in stuff.
Okay, we'll stand back again and use Mag's hand to open the door.
Okay. Opening the door, you find another six-sided tower with a ladder on the far side.
What, you mean one they didn't destroy?
One they didn't destroy, but the floor here seems to be very rotted. You sure it's something to do with the fact that goblins have been peeing on it a lot?
Mm-hmm.
And there is a ladder on the far wall that appears to be goblin made.
Otherwise, the room is empty.
Otherwise, the room appears empty.
And the ladder goes up to a trapdoor, or just a hole in the wall, a hole in the ceiling.
Goes through a hole in the ceiling up into the an area above.
Yeah.
Not in the room, so I can't ask the question.
Well, no one's in the room at the moment, unless someone walked past Dimitri to do it. But
Can I see in the room?
You can see Dimitri in the room.
And Dimitri, since we're all in telepathic range of you, you were mentioning in your head about the whistling, yeah?
No.
No? You managed to
Yeah,
get
no,
back
we
out of
didn't.
the stream of
The whistling
consciousness?
was obviously the whistling was obviously just some wind blowing through some gaps in the ceiling. I mean, this tower might be more intact than the others, but it's probably been damaged by your effort so far, or
And
Did you say that in your mind?
quite possibly thought it.
Did you think it?
in telepathic mind, you've actually got to deliberately think the words.
Okay, so
I don't know. It's not like you pick up each other's thoughts automatically. It's you do it.
so there's just a break in the stream of information we usually get.
So
Okay, cool.
the yeah. Yeah.
I'm
I
appreciating
don't
the
trust that
quietness.
floor and thinks it only seems to go up to another level there at the moment. Is this the final room on this level that we haven't checked?
No, round the corner there are 2 more rooms you haven't checked, but
Yeah.
one of them smells worse than the door does. Even from about 10 feet away, you can smell the fact that the goblins have been using that bedroom as a latrine. Far more concentrated
The
on
one-
the door.
I
The one we
will not
haven't
go
gone to
within
yet,
20
okay.
feet. How far away is that particular door?
Well, I said about 15 feet from you, but you can smell that quite clearly now.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere closer to that.
But if you walk past it, there's a door on the other side.
Oh, God.
And then a corridor turns back
Unending
behind
breath!
the kitchen.
Unending breath! I can hold my breath!
I can taste goblin stuff. I've held my breath. I can taste goblin stuff. I can always taste goblin stuff.
Oh, God.
Actually, Druidcraft explicitly says you can create a 5-foot cube filled with mulch. That's got to be better.
I'm sure... Like, I could cast Gust of Wind and try and blow it away from us. I think I just stopped breathing. No, I was an air genasi. I think I just stopped breathing. No, it says deliberately hold my breath indefinitely. Nope. Okay, I then try breathing.
Slightly better. Only slightly.
Can I walk outside, take a deep breath, and walk back in?
You can do that if you wish to.
Yes, please.
As you walk outside, you see that the ground outside is covered in a fog that seems to be getting thicker.
Okay. I take a deep breath and return in, and while I am doing that, I am telling them that there is a fog thickening outside.
Give me a constitution saving throw.
Let's go for one of my... Okay, this one has a +6. Oh, and +1, so I'm +7 on this. 15.
Okay, so as you walk back in, you feel as if your temperature's dropped a couple of degrees.
Okay.
You even got a little bit of ice on your feet.
Which isn't an issue because I'm wearing my Isar boots.
But you're not used to ice just forming in seconds.
No. Okay, I will relay this over the telepathic bond and maybe suggest we can't just shut the doors.
What's ice? I don't know what that is.
You remember when I cast the sleet storm when we were fighting the fire things that couldn't be hurt by fire? You know, in the distance, the sort of circle of things that stopped the fog cloud?
Cold water?
Yes.
Solid water.
I mean, I could make some for you.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I mentioned the fog and my temperature dropping and the ice on feet. Does it feel like the cold I would feel up in the northern reaches? Does it feel colder?
You don't feel any cold on you whatsoever.
Yeah, that concerns me. So I would mention it over the telepathic bond. Ask Dimitri if he has any idea of a magical effect that might do this, and maybe we should find a way of stopping the fog from coming inside.
Well, looking behind you, you can see it's entered the corridor.
Guys?
Well, someone did break the doors.
Yes. If only you had a nice secure tower to...
It's a fog, isn't it?
Yeah,
Can I cast Gust of Wind
you can.
and, like, channel it out the entryway?
You cast Gust of Wind, direct it right to it, and it doesn't move. It's still coming towards you.
Okay, that's a problem, guys.
I have
Yeah,
an
that's
idea
creepy.
what locks us in this part of the castle.
It doesn't seem to be moving with the air movement.
That's a problem, guys.
We can get on the flying carpet.
Yeah, it's, like, filling the corridor. It's not, like,
You
low-lying.
can actually fill the corridor, or is it
It's
just hugging the ground at the moment?
currently hugging the ground.
So I can
At
just
what level?
smash the door open.
Which door do you want to smash open?
The one that we came in.
Well, the doors that you came in is already open.
Let's just fly out.
Are we going to abandon the fort?
Well, that seems like the best suggestion.
Well, if it's fog, it's probably higher than where the door is. And
I mean,
it's also not affected.
Well, yeah, so you
I
can
suspect
just...
that this isn't natural fog, and it's probably being brought in by something outside.
cast
That's
Gust
inside
of
the
Wind.
fog, so we probably don't want to go into the
I
fog.
cast Gust of Wind. It didn't have an effect. It is not natural.
How
Which means
much
it's an
fog are
aura
we
around
talking
something
about?
bigger.
Currently, it looks to be about a foot deep, moving down the corridor, and it
Uh,
seems to be
like-
only coming towards you, not the other way.
Yeah.
the
What if,
So,
is it,
At the intersection where the front door
So
is,
it's
it's
targeting
turning
us.
right, not turning left.
So we could go back to the door we could secure that didn't have a rotting floor, the other guard room.
But you have to cross this fog to get to it.
With the flying carpet.
Well, you four can get on the flying carpet. I can levitate and hold on the back.
Well, I've got a broom of flying as well, so whatever.
Yeah, no, if we want to fly, like, how high is the...
The ceilings here are about 10 feet high.
So
Yeah.
we should be able to fly above the mist.
You could fly above the mists.
Okay, I'll take the broom.
No worries.
Now both of my characters seem to have a broom of flying.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, what do we think? Should we go to the guard room, lock the door, find a way to stop fog from getting into
Yeah.
it?
is the fog expanding, like in the sense that it's coming towards us or down our corridor,
About 5 feet around.
but
and your
that's the-
discussion
the
just
point is-
moved about 15 feet towards you.
Is
is it
like
still
on me
connected to
now,
the
or-
outside, or are we talking like a 5 foot, like a foot worth of fog on the floor that happens to be 10, 20 feet worth, square feet worth of fog?
Well, you can't see an end to it.
It filled, like, I couldn't see.
It is still coming from the outside,
It is
so
still
we're
coming
still
from the
connected to
outside.
the outside.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not like a poison cloud or something like that. It's...
Yeah. Well, it could be, but it's probably a very big version of that if it is.
Still holding
Yeah.
my breath.
hmm
Yeah. This is not changing the holding breath.
So, you going to unroll your carpet?
Yep.
You hand over the broom?
Yep.
You get on the carpet?
Yep.
You get some with you?
As many people as possible. 3?
3 others, yes.
Yeah.
So who else do you get on the carpet?
Well, as lax as I am
Oh,
to...
we still have the farmer. Can I carry someone on the broom?
Oh, you're not sure.
Can
Well-
I turn into a rat so I don't take up any space and we can get the farmer on?
You can, yes.
Okay. Nice.
I can potentially help people fly.
Oh, because, yeah, you can... Druid...
Magic fairy dust.
Oh, magic fairy dust. Right.
Yes, he crushes up fairies and sprays it everywhere. I'm sure it works great.
Yeah. I've got it in a roll on.
And he does believe in fairies, otherwise he won't get more.
Alright, the flying carpet, like, I'm not on the flying carpet, I am now on the broom. Flying,
you're sitting on the
hovering.
broom, but nothing's happening.
Trellin, how do I make this thing work?
Let's just... How do I make it work?
Well, you've got the command word. Doesn't matter who else says it or what they do, you control it.
Alright, I'll
Yeah.
say, let's go.
Is that the command word?
Yeah.
Excellent. Am I now hovering?
You're now hovering, and unless he directs it, you stay hovering.
Okay.
Let's go.
Follow me.
Okay, so you fly over to the other door. As you do, you see little bits of the fog start to rise.
Well, try and stay. We can lay ourselves flat and just
But if we
take
get to the other...
take the 8-foot route.
Are we heading back to the secured guard room?
That's what I believe he said he was doing.
Yes.
Yes.
We don't have anybody outside the castle that we care about, right?
No.
Can I use stone shape to just like close off the entrance?
Can you do that in rat form?
Not in rat form.
How quickly can you do that?
You hear squeak,
Without a
squeak,
time.
squeaky, squeak.
Sorry?
Gets passed on.
Just one turn?
I think if there isn't high enough spell slot, I can do like enough. I think I made a tunnel with one cast.
So
I made a 15-foot tunnel in one cast. So I think I can fill up the space. With the same amount.
how is the
The carpet is the width of the passageway.
and how deep is the sheet of ice?
Well, you go over the top of the fog,
Yep.
and you reach the other door, which you can push open at this stage.
Yes.
And it's slow moving, so we can get there and have time to secure ourselves before.
But as you cross over it, you see it slowly start to move 5 feet in your direction and no longer continue down the other way.
All right. So
Yeah.
you can.
Hang on, Mark, before you go that, so Dimitri was curious about the whole effects of this. So when the others were getting on the carpet or on the broom or things like that, he kept flying himself, but didn't bother actually moving yet because he was just examining. Well, I wonder what could have come out, what effect this
If
is.
he wasn't on the cover,
Um,
Well,
he'd
then
turn
you
to a rat.
can. You can
So he's
stay in
noticed about
barbarian form or whatever.
he's noticed that the fog appeared to climb up a bit as the carpet went over the top and the broom went over the top. Is it still coming towards Dimitri as well?
Yes, it would be then.
Okay. And no view force for Dimitri has got non-detected on.
It is still coming towards you.
Happy with that? That's right. So okay. He's happy to walk it. Because how long is this corridor?
The corridor is about 20 feet long, 25 feet long to get to the corner.
Okay.
So not a huge amount of space.
And behind him, he's got the passage, the room you're just looking at, which has the ladder
Going
up to a hole in the roof.
Yep,
And that was about a 20-foot room, was it?
it was.
30-foot room? Yeah, okay. So he's going to stand at the door there and just watch for a bit and see whether or not A, the fog is coming towards him, but B, also when the carpet goes over the top, does it continue to rise after the carpet's gone, or they could keep following along the other side?
It seems to shrink back down again and then follow along.
Okay.
But it's still like trying to get to Dimitri as well. It's like splitting.
So,
Well, not splitting, it's just expanding in each
Expanding.
direction.
Dimitri's
what was that,
actually
Elliot?
basically be looking at it carefully as it approaches. Before it gets, like I say, it gets about 10 feet away, you'll definitely start moving, flying back over the rotted floor, heading towards the other one. But he's examining the fog to see if he can work out what magic's involved, or what the spell is, or things like that. So,
And what was Elliot saying?
Oh, I was just going to say, is it anything that we've potentially sort of seen before, or heard of, or anything like that? Like, can I do any sort of arcana check on the light?
Yes, you can do an Arcana check.
Doesn't help much. 12.
12. Well, whatever it is, it seems to be moving towards the living as far as you can tell.
Alright, in the name of science, I'm going to shoot a little bit of sacred flame at it, if I could, just to see what happens.
Okay. Yes, you throw a sacred flame at it, and you see it sort of almost come right back towards you as ice.
Uh-huh.
Your flame has been frozen solid.
At this point, I am casting Bless on the people who are in the room with me.
Cool.
Are you shutting the door?
I can do up to 3 creatures short range.
So, while you're doing the bless, are people shutting the door now that you've gotten into the room?
Are people shutting the door?
I'm just flying with my carpet. And
Okay, so while you're doing that, what about
I'm
Elliot
on the
and Sean? Are your characters shutting the door?
So
Or are you waiting for
casting
Dimitri?
Wait, Dimitri's not with us?
No.
I'm tempted to close it, but
I'm casting it at 2nd level. It's my last 2nd level, but I got a heat above. So
I think we'll probably
the 4
ask Dimitri if he's coming before closing it.
Does Dimitri answer?
Well, Dimitri's obviously concentrating a bit, like he rolled a 28 on Arcana for his investigation or looking at the myth. And he'll eventually go, yeah, I'm coming.
You assume it's heading towards... From your roll, you assume it's heading towards heat sources. Anything that's putting out heat is going towards. But it may also be soul-based.
Did that take the plane? Was that part while it was still within invisibility or dimension?
Sure.
Yeah. That could certainly then influence or the segment.
Because you can still see it from where he cast it, almost reaching all the way back to him. And the fog is dripping off it.
Bless means that we all get a D4 to any saving throws or attack rolls.
I'll try and make sure I take that into account.
Okay, so Dimitri's in the interest of, it's now 10 feet away from Dimitri, is it?
It's about to enter the room you're in.
Oh, okay, so he got up to the door, okay, so that can, yeah, so, okay, Dimitri was not staying on the, he was flying above the rotten floor.
Yeah.
And he's going to give a try of casting a chromatic orb and an ice ball, which obviously is, wouldn't do much damage if it was going to do the thing, but he's going to try and pass that at the face, at the doorway into the rotten floor to see if he can damage the floor and therefore see what happens to the fog, and or whether or not the cold spell is affected like the sacred flame spell.
Okay, so you hit the floor with a bolt of cold. You see it sort of frost over, and the fog just start pouring off the spot you hit.
Okay.
Apparently, you've entered another spot the fog can enter the room from.
Yeah, but obviously the floor itself did not, it wasn't enough damage to try and go through the rotten floor.
It was not.
Well, okay, we'll keep moving back then. So we're now under the opening on the other side. He's taking a look up to see what's in the above him.
You can't tell. It's another room.
Yeah, but I mean, but empty. Like from what you can see, you call empty. Yeah.
As far as you can tell, yes.
Yeah.
I think at this point
we
I'm
will.
going, Dimitri, what are you doing?
You believe you've got 1 or 2 rounds now before the fog enters your room.
Yeah.
I mean, you could stone shape the door.
I mean, I have already said I've done that since Dimitri didn't respond.
In which case, then, you can't see out of the room.
Dimitri did respond. He said, yeah, I'm coming.
Can I draw my flame tongue?
But obviously thinking about other things when he was saying it.
You draw your flame tongue, providing light as you activate it.
Yeah. So
And you can
40
see
foot.
that the corridor has been closed off with a wall of stone.
I mean, we all have dark vision, but I
Yes,
guess
but
there's no
it
light
creates
source.
light and changes your vision. Anyone who has dark vision is no longer seeing in dark vision.
Alright, cool.
So it's wall of stone.
I think it was stone shape, the one I
Stone
used
shape.
to make the tunnel just in the last fort that we're at. I believe that if I upcast it, I can do more area.
Okay, so you reshape part of the wall near you to close off the passageway.
Yeah.
So you can't actually create, you have to manipulate and move.
Yeah.
Meaning that the kitchen area was left open, so now you can see into the kitchen area. You've now created you may have slowed it down, but it can still reach you.
So you cast it across the corridor or across the
I
doorway?
kind of just like
into
slid the walls around.
So
He's changed the map on you.
So did you cut off the corridor? Or you didn't cut off the doorway.
I cut off the corridor, but now it's open into the kitchen area.
Okay.
So I think the fog's just going to take longer to get to
But
us.
we can just fly up there.
Just in case, can I get off the broom because I'm not in control of it
Mm-hmm.
and climb the ladder
You can
and
climb
check
the
out
ladder.
what's upstairs?
Okay, so you spend the round getting up to the top of the ladder. So, what is Dimitri doing while all these guys are doing stuff, and what is Dauphin doing? Because Trelen's been safe on top of the carpet.
Well, but
With the flame
there are
knife.
4 other people. There are 3 other people joining me.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't bless the farmer. Oh well.
then, so I can just go up.
You can go up, yes.
Yeah.
Yep, I can just follow them up.
The
Okay.
farmer's
Close
only thing. I'm
Yes.
trusting you to take care of the farmer.
So
Okay.
it's got you, the farmer, it's got Dauphin, and it's got Genric, no longer a rat.
Okay.
Figuring that because Dimitri's not on it, he doesn't have to save space.
Right. No worries.
And you notice your broom's sort of floating near the bottom of the floor.
What?
I got off the broom because
Well,
I
I
can't
can
control it.
command the.
But you have to command it each time. You can
But
either
you-
move the carpet or move the broom. You can't move both.
All right. So when it says one action, 60 feet, can I just move it?
You can move it, yes. You can move it 60 feet.
And move it up.
I mean,
Well,
you
if you go up
just
60
grab
feet,
the
everyone's
broom.
going to squish into the roof.
You could just grab the broom and then focus on the carpet. I'm going up to see if there's anything upstairs that's going to threaten us.
So
I got off the
What-
broom because I can't control it. So I got off the broom and climbed the ladder.
okay.
Yeah, I can float up myself. I've got 10 minutes to fly.
Then let's. So yeah,
Good.
5 seconds of you scanning the room, and
Which I
then
can't
I
do
come
yet.
up, and that's it.
Okay. So, yes, you've reached the trapdoor in the ceiling. It
Is
appears to
locked?
be locked on the other side by something.
I don't think I have anything that will break. We don't really want to break the door. Is there a lock, or is it just like, does it feel like it's something on it, or?
Hard to tell. You're sort of on a ladder and you're not wanting to put too much force. Because, hey, the ladder may not survive the force.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's anything I can do about that.
How does putting force on it count if I'm flying?
Well, if you're flying, you don't have leverage.
Yeah, okay, thought so.
So, it's imagine watching you try to force the door. It looks like you're doing push-ups on the door.
Upside down push-ups.
It would look amazing, but wouldn't achieve much. Most of forcing something open is using leverage.
Yep.
So think of yourself at the moment while you're flying as if you're in zero gravity. Okay, so...
I've got an idea. Hang on a second.
I mean,
Immovable rod. You can use that as leverage.
immovable rod, yep, you can use that as leverage.
I can just break the door. I do have, like, shatter.
That will also potentially break the rest of the tower.
I also have, Thunderwave.
And push everybody
Or I
around
could
you away.
hit it and choose thunder damage.
Because I was going to wait 5 seconds for you to do the magic.
I don't...
Trellan's up beside you now, as is Dofan, Genric, and the farmer looking a little confused as to what's happening. He sort of asks, why doesn't someone just shut the door?
I'll go and shut the door.
No, I'll go down to shut the door. You're on the carpet. I can't push it open. Trellan,
Yes.
would you like to push it open or try to find a way? I'll go shut the other door.
I'll use my thieves' tools to see if I can wiggle it open.
Okay. I will make it a athletics check with your thieves' tools.
That gives you advantage, doesn't thieves' tools give you
It
an
just
extra
means that he's getting to use his athletics. That's basically the bonus he gets.
So...
Just that the thieves' tools means he
Plus.
gets to make an athletics check.
10, 19.
19, okay. Lifting it up slightly, you're able to stick your tool through and it sticks to something. And you're having trouble pulling it back out again. You believe there's webbing on the other side of the door. And not tiny webbing but giant webbing.
Right.
Like spider webbing?
Webbing that is thicker than the chain he broke earlier.
But it looks like spider silk, not like netting.
Does look like spider silk webbing, yes. But really thick spider silk webbing. Okay, so while that is happening, what is Dimitri doing? Is he going up to the next level?
Well, he's going to fly up and be seeing whether or not actually... He might actually fly over the mist,
Spider silk webbing.
like close to the doorway, just to see whether it does follow him upwards, and try to get an idea of whether or not it's actually leaving the ground, or whether it's actually basically expanding in width on the ground.
You believe it's expanding in width and rising up that way.
Or depth, I should say. Okay. And then I'll move back towards the opening in the ceiling, and hey, let's give it a Dispel Magic try on the mist, not on the mist.
Just a shame you don't have Drachnamar with you this week.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so you throw a Dispel Magic at it. You feel really good about throwing the Dispel Magic. Doesn't seem to do anything. It doesn't seem to be magical.
Have you... Okay, so detect magic.
Well, and while you're doing your spell, Hilderan, you can start to see the mist going around the wall that you added into the space.
I shut the door.
Mm.
Goes back to the ladder.
Do you chain it up?
Yeah, I'll take the time to chain it.
Okay.
Is there any like gaps around the door?
Not that you saw.
Okay, so it looks like it's not airtight, but it'll hinder it.
It wouldn't stop a ghost, but it would stop something that wasn't able to squeeze through tiny gaps.
But even if the mist can squeeze through tiny gaps, it's going to thin it out, and it's going
Or
to take
slow it
time.
down.
So yeah, I will chain it.
Okay.
Demetri will get back the thought that, okay, well, it does not appear to be magical effect, and they say it appears to be following either heat or life forms.
And as you finish chaining it up, you see the bottom of the door start to ice up.
As soon as I've chained it, I'm backing away and getting so close to back to these guys.
Okay, so you make it back to them and start climbing up the ladder. And it doesn't seem to be coming into the room.
It's just cold.
As you see the ice start to rise up the door.
Two things, guys. Either this is the safest place for us right now, because it can't go through doors and trapdoors, or it's freezing the door so that it can break the door somehow.
So I'm willing to confront whatever's on top of the blocking the thing.
The trapdoor.
The trapdoor. Yeah.
I'm happy to confront that, but
Yes. So I can use my belt of hill giant strength and just smash it open.
Or do you just stick your flame blade through?
That's right. Yes, I can do that.
or
I was going to say, Genric's fire isn't going to be very controlled if silk webbing goes through it. I don't want to accidentally burn down the castle.
Okay. I'll use my flame tongue and use it and 3 ways and hopefully get it to move.
I was more
Okay.
trying to suggest not using fire to get rid of the webs.
So while you're suggesting not to use fire to get rid of the webs, you see Trellin sticking his blade through and a light coming from up above far more than his blade. As you sort of look in your direction, you're suggesting not using fire.
Well, what the...
Most
the
webs are
room's on
flammable.
fire.
Well,
You know it's
So
probably
we've
not a
got-
good idea to do fire
we've
when
got
you've
cold.
already
We've got
saying
cold coming up, and we've got fire or whatever.
no. Oh, congratulations, you're stuck here. Genric
And you
goes
hear
up into the
shrieking
fire.
coming from upstairs.
shrieking.
Yeah, so something seems to be burning.
That's
Is
right.
it goblins shrieking or giant spider shrieking?
Hard to tell. That's high pitched. Could be both.
Could I do
Either.
a check to find out?
Sure.
Would it likely be... Can I tell if it's beast?
Not really.
Because I get advantage on beasts.
Well, give me a nature roll.
Nature roll. Okay, second chance dice. What do I have in nature? Just give me a second to check my skills. I've got
While
one
they're
of these
discussing
eventually.
and therefore presumably thinking of fire or not using fire and then eventually using fire, Demetri kind of thought, did the mist appear to suddenly jump towards a likely course? Or is it still moving up normally?
It's being blocked by the door, but it is gradually.
Oh, okay, so you didn't get any effectiveness to the fire because it was not affected, you went in.
It made the fire ice.
So the
Yeah,
door,
that-
the door
that-
did
that-
block it a little bit, but not fully.
No, it hasn't
Yeah.
come through the door. The door is becoming
Yeah.
ice.
Yeah.
I have specialization in Fey, Beast Law, or Weather. Do I get advantage on this nature check?
I'll give you advantage. So you got 3 ranks in nature.
Yeah. nature and survival were the ones I got to hit. I think I've got 4 ranks in nature and survival. You gave me that because of my background. Advantage, so plus 12, 25.
25.
And it wasn't on the druid dice.
It does sound like a spider shrieking in as
26.
it's burning in fire.
Okay. Spider dying.
Good.
Is there a way to put out the fire so we can...
And you can start to see smoke coming down the hole through the holes in the trapdoor.
I can do something about it, but it'll take a while.
I can blast coals
Just
up
make it
there.
worse.
Yeah.
Might damage some things though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's just make sure the trapdoor is open. And then blast coal.
Anything I can do is ridiculous. Like, it will destroy something.
I can make myself immune to fire damage and then also do a lot of it. But the problem is I have to put it on before I get into the fire, but before I get...
Is the trapdoor
Before I'm in the
moving
fire,
further?
but
Like,
after
can
I
we
get off
push
the
it up
carpet.
higher?
Well, you can
Otherwise I'm
push
gonna
it
set the
open
carpet
fully
on
now
fire.
because what was holding it down is on fire.
Okay. That's good.
So,
yes, you can feel free to use your firepower to ice it up and generally make it not on fire.
When I say ice it up, I mean like an ice-based attack.
Yeah, that's
rather than
good.
anything
That's
else.
good.
But yeah,
I got gust again. I could cast Gust of Wind again, but it's just going to make the fire bigger.
Yeah.
I have cantrip that can extinguish fire, but I need to be up there to do it.
So do it.
I'm trying to think of a way to word it so that Martin doesn't set the carpet on fire when I do it.
Well, you want to turn it into a fire elemental.
I can do Investor of Flame, which essentially just sets myself on fire. I become a living torch essentially for a bit.
Well, do you want to climb up there before doing it, or do you want to burn the carpet?
I would like to climb up into it and then do it.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask. It's an option.
Yeah, well,
Generic takes one for the team. He climbs up into the burning room.
yeah,
But
He's also got...
he's also immune to fire.
not
Not
yet.
yet.
Oh.
I have to cast a spell first.
If you get
Right.
a saving throw, don't forget your D4.
Yeah, so as I'm climbing up, once I'm in the room,
So you
I
don't
will
set
cast
the ladder on
Investor
fire
of
as well.
Fire on Investor of Flame on myself.
Okay, so before you cast that, you get to make a Constitution saving throw.
Don't forget
Yay!
your D4. I'm going to sit here as a cleric. Once I cast Bless, I've got to remind people. That's my job.
It's your spell, so you have to remind them to use
Oh,
it.
I have it in capitals.
It's also D8. Where are my D4s? Why do the D4s always
I've got to
sit
do
to
the
bottom?
Taliesin job.
Well, if you don't remind them, they don't do it.
Most of my dice now are critical roll dice.
Constitution, was it save or just
Yep,
Constitution?
Constitution saving throw.
Okay, that's good. I don't think I'm kind of good at that. Hold on. 25.
You breathe long enough to cast your spell.
Yay! Yeah, so when I cast the spell, in short, I turn into the Human Torch for 10 minutes with concentration.
Yeah, so you can drop it as soon as you need to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so while you're getting the spell out, you can see this room is full of bundles of crates and cloths with strands of flame everywhere, where the various spider webs were. And in the center of the room is a 4-man canoe on fire, held up by burning ropes.
What a use the canoe was doing up here.
Looks like it was a storeroom for the castle, including building supplies to repair everything.
Oh no.
Stone doesn't burn.
Well, there's no... the floor here is actually... I'll go with stone, so the floor will be fine.
You can say if it's wooden, it's about to fall on top of all of them.
Yes, that was a concern of mine.
Right,
And if the
so-
trapdoor goes up, it's smouldering at the very least.
Whilst I'm in this form, I am immune to fire damage and have resistance to cold. Any creature that moves within 5 feet of me for the first time on a turn or ends its turn there takes 1d10 fire damage. And I can use my action to create a line of fire 15 foot long, 5 foot wide, extending from you in a direction of your choice. Each creature in that line makes a dexterity saving throw. A creature takes 4d8 fire damage on a failed save, half as much on a successful one.
So this room is the same size as the room below, including the armory.
Yeah.
So it takes up the size of 2 rooms below.
So it's
And you can see windows to the outside that help fan the flame.
So it's 35 by...
It's an octagonal room with a long room added on the other side.
How wide was the armory?
Where is
The armory
spider?
was about 30 feet in length by about 15 feet in height.
So it's 30...
So it takes one of the sides of the 6-sided room and just extends it out.
So
by
it's
30
35 by 50 on one side.
Picture. It's that room there.
Right, yeah. Can you see where the spider is?
You believe the spider's in the boat and can't get out anyway because there's flame everywhere. And you can see it shriveling up in the flames.
Okay.
The size of a medium-sized dog.
I thought it'd be bigger.
It is a large spider.
Is the body the size, or like the whole thing the size of a medium-sized dog?
The body is the size of a medium-sized dog.
Okay.
Its limbs are probably about your height.
If you extinguish the flame, we can still kill it. But
Probably
we can't
already-
help you while it's up there. While you're up there, if the flame's still going.
The problem is that I'm also currently on fire, so I need to find the part where I extinguish myself and then whilst getting rid of the flames.
While we're looking at that, so Dimitri's basically looking down from above now, watching this with continuing to do his analysis and checking. He's going to use minor pyromancy to get a bit of a floor about, say, 10 feet in front of where the fog is at that moment in time. Off in one corner type stuff, or off in my legs. Get the floor on fire. Get a small campfire type size, or even smaller. Get to see whether or not the fog appears to react or move faster towards that flame, or whether it just continues in encroachment towards Dimitri.
Well, it seems to move towards the flame as you, the moment it's there, and it doesn't seem to be moving towards you at this stage. You might be out of its range.
Okay.
And as you watch it reach the flame, as soon as it touches the flame solidifies.
Yep. I will park on the fact that, well, yes, it's definitely attracted to heat. But it may well have range of how far it can actually detect heat and or light. Get more than 30 feet or something away from it, and it will potentially stop following you.
So all we have to do is make sure we don't create a whole lot of heat.
So we need to ice the room.
We'll start using...
Well, Dofan can do that.
And Dimitri can see outside from this level as well, and you can see the entire courtyard seems to be about 5 feet deep in fog.
Okay. Can I see the light of flames flickering from a neighbouring tower?
I'm sure you've heard somebody think about fire.
Not yet, because you've got no window pointing in that direction.
I thought the windows were flying, weren't they?
They are, but you've got no window facing that direction.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's right.
And you can also see out the front gates have been opened. So you think the goblins may have opened the gate, and the fog's all coming in through that door. It's about 10 feet up the door, pouring in.
And how big is the gate?
The gates are about 20 feet in height.
And are the windows, whatever it is you're looking out of, are they big enough for him to go through? Anything up?
You could try to squeeze through, but they are arrow slit sort of windows. You also see that there are a lot of cabinets in this room as well, with what appears to be games of some sort.
Yeah, okay. But when you say the arrow slits, so like we're talking like 15 inches to 1 foot wide type stuff, so Dimitri's confident he could squeeze through, just he's going to be a squeeze, he's got a fly through without touching the guy type stuff. Is that right?
That is correct.
Dimitri will go for squeezing through the gap, and he's going to attempt to fly over and try and close the gate.
Okay. So while he's doing that, what is everyone else doing?
Is the spider dead?
You doubt most things moving like it is would actually be living.
My question, quickly, is it considered a cold attack? The ice on my boots.
Does not appear to be a cold attack.
So they haven't charged up. Damn it.
The ice seems to be a secondary thing.
Dimitri definitely said, you probably didn't pick it up in his detailed explanation of what was going on and how it was going through. You came to the fact that yes, it would definitely appear to be a spiritual or undead type influence.
Technically, I'm just checking, because if it was cold, I get a use of Ray of Frost.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So until I could climb up into the burning room, but I prefer not to do that yet.
Okay, so
I can I potentially stick my hand up and stuff and Ray of Frost inside the room, obviously trying not to hit Generic.
I mean, he blends in.
Are you trying very hard not to hit Generic, or just if you hit him, you hit him?
No, I can try hard.
Okay, in that case, you can easily miss him.
Right, I'll Yep. All right. So I'll hang on a sec. Yep. So I have to change my season, whatever that means, mate. Basically, my appearance turns a bit more cooler colours like blues and greys, and I can use Ray of Frost as a cantrip.
Are you changing your affinity?
No, it's an elven invocation, so I can choose a season and get a cantrip per long rest.
Does that?
So I'll go with winter so I can frost the room.
If it's per long rest, you're not in a long rest.
Is he that type of elf?
No, as in I can use it once per
long rest,
and then it recharges for a long rest at a long rest.
Okay. In which case you're lucky, because most people who activate those sort of things need to spend a long rest to do it. So yes, you change your season.
I take note of that.
Yeah, so I can use it once. Or you can use it after a long rest. It says once after a long rest. And then I'll shoot some rays of frost into that room, properly trying not to hit Garrett.
So which ability was that one again?
It's Elven Invocation, and I'll try to find the exact one.
I was just trying to make sure we had it working well for you. If it's the Aldrin Eldritch Invocation, the Eldrin Evocation, Evocation of the Eldrin Lords.
It sounds like what it would be.
Sounds like what I was thinking.
At the end of a long rest, you can change your selected aspect.
So it's like
Only at the end of a long rest. It's not
Yeah.
a.
And the idea is
it's
that
not,
you used that this morning to set it to what you were.
and you can only change it after a long rest.
that makes sense with what I know.
That's why I was a bit
Basically,
surprised.
you work out what aspect you are when you wake up in the morning.
Okay, I misread it. Alright.
All good,
You select which personality you have.
pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, I can also change my Eldritch Ray to be cold. I can do that instead.
Which means I didn't see it, so Hildren didn't know. Which means Hildren didn't see it, so Hildren doesn't notice. But you haven't done that before, have you?
But technically, it's
No.
it's basically saying he's a seasoned fae.
Yeah, so I figured that. But
Alright, well, okay, so I can use one spell point and change my normal Eldritch Ray to a frost attack then.
How long does it stay frosted?
Until next rest.
Until next rest. That's not bad. It means you can keep going Ice Blast.
Yep, and I can use a spell point to change the type later as well.
yeah, if Hildren sees it because of her past, she would know the connection.
Yep. Okay, so yes, you start shooting cold into the room, putting out little bits of flame wherever you hit. And hearing explosions of the things you hit blowing up slightly.
Is it making any difference, Gedrick?
You're not helping very much. Use control flame to just put out 5-foot cubes each time until it's all gone.
So you're quite effective at putting out the fire and reducing the fire as you're watching bits of shards of ice fly in different directions from where someone's going pew 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 pew.
Is it
No, I thought
actually
it was the big
helping?
getting in there.
And you can hear from his mind, I'm helping.
Is it helping?
Not really. But he feels like he is.
But we want to call, if a stone room has been burning, it's still going to be radiating heat.
Yep.
If we then hit it with cold Eldritch blasts, would that be
Well,
reducing?
Eldritch Blast is you're hitting it with a blast of cold that goes thump, thump.
So it won't
Thump.
reduce the temperature.
It may reduce it a little bit, but it's like someone throwing an ice ball at you and saying, I'm putting out the fire, throw ice ball, throw ice ball. But an ice ball thrown by a baseball pitcher.
We're also at 30 feet.
Mhm.
Is the door still icing further?
You see it ices up to about 5 feet and then stops about there.
Is it coming through the keyhole?
It is not.
Okay.
And while you're, well, of course you can't tell, but the others can tell you as you think, is it coming through the keyhole? And you've got the others going down, no, no, definitely not coming through the keyhole.
I think Dimitri, it seems to have stopped. The 30 feet thing might be right.
I still think
What,
it's just an
you
order
down
around
with it?
something bigger.
And Dimitri, as you're pulling the gate shut, you see some 2 frozen goblins outside.
That sounds odd.
No,
There's 2 of them.
the goblins tried to run, as Dimitri said, and they got caught in the fog.
Okay.
I'm just doing a quick check.
He will mention that, Kay. I found the goblins for you. You can rest easy.
Okay, and Elliot?
I don't know if it makes any difference apart from just thematically, but it's actually an Eldritch Ray, so it shoots a ray rather than a bolt.
Okay, so you're spraying it. You can write your name in ice.
It's like a really bad fire extinguisher.
You're not writing your name in the snow, you're writing your name with the snow.
Pretty much.
With snow.
Just as long as it's not yellow.
I feel like it
Doesn't say I can choose a colour.
changes colour as he goes along, like those rainbow pens.
But hey, I'm sure covering things with ice will eventually make it cool down. Okay, so between you and Genric, you seem to get the fire under control as Dimitri turns back and sees the glow dim and then go out. Because you didn't really notice the fire until you turned around and went, "What the?"
So you can see see the room that I'm in.
Yes.
I want to run through the door screaming, like I've been set on fire.
Well, the door's currently shut, so you can burst through the door if you wish to.
You can stand in the.
Give me an athletics check.
Is there a door to the outside? Are we talking door to the battlements?
It's not the battlements yet. It's the upper floor of the keep.
So if he runs through the other, is that gonna? Is the door even gonna show Dimitri?
No, but it would be funny to see if he actually makes it through.
3.
So Dauphin sees Genric run at the door and the door doesn't even shut.
Do I take damage? So I have to roll concentration.
You've taken damage to your pride greatly.
Emotional damage.
Emotion.
I keep concentration. Just in case it does matter, it only lasts 10 minutes, the fire.
You could, drop it.
Currently, the only thing burning in the room is Genric. Do you wish to put him out?
Empty,
Can
but
I get into the room, or am I not able to do
yeah, we
it?
can climb up.
You can climb up into the room.
Okay.
And Trellin can get off his carpet, roll it up, and come in.
Yes.
Is the spider moving?
In the sense of, is it moving under its own accord? No. Is it moving? Yes.
Is it moving because spiders run off hydraulics and its blood is boiling?
Pretty much. It's just, there's a lot of twitching and foul smoke coming off it.
Can I go to the window and look out the window? I have far sight. Can I
You
see
can.
how far the fog goes?
Okay, looking out one side of the castle, it seems to go as far as you can see in the forest. Seems that at night the forest seems to be blanketed by this fog,
Okay, I transmit that information.
which would assume why the goblins hold up in a castle. And
And Quebec, you managed to close the gate yet?
he has managed to close the gates.
Can I see?
So
if
the
there's
fog
anything?
appear to keep coming through the gate?
They do not seem to be. Fog doesn't seem to be keep going through the gate. Inside the gate, it slowly starts to drop down, and from where it was, you can see ice up walls.
Yeah. Looking around the keep wall there, is there actually still an effective wall around the keep, or is some of those walls, are there now gaps in the walls because of certain influences earlier in the day?
There are gaps in the wall, but it doesn't seem to drop down to below 10 feet.
So the fog isn't
okay.
coming through the gaps.
It doesn't seem to be coming through the gaps at this stage.
Yeah.
See? Vermin!
Okay, Dimitri,
Wherever goblins go,
okay.
they do silly things that cause damage.
The gates are closed as long as you can stay in a enclosed location. The fog doesn't get in. Yeah, I feel kind of more secure if the walls were a lot more secure than they were 24 hours ago.
Stop going on about it.
What were you doing about the gnolls?
It's Dimitri. He'll never not go on about it.
Okay.
At least until you've repaired it, and then he'll just comment on how much better it is now that we've repaired things.
Well, but of course, how much wasted effort was involved in destroying it just so you could repair
Wall
it?
of stone.
First of all.
Like, if you do that, that lasts, doesn't it? So if we take some time and you do wall of stone on the battlements once or a couple of times, that will secure the battlements.
Probably. I think Wall of Stone does fall down after time.
No, it doesn't. I read.
No, Wall of Stone's got a permanent effect.
Yeah, I read the spell recently when
But
building a possible.
it's an instantaneous
If you
spell
maintain your
that results in
concentration
a
on the spell
permanent.
for its full duration, it does.
He has to concentrate for 10 minutes to keep
So
it there.
if we cast it,
Yeah.
if you cast it and concentrate for 10 minutes, like I'm just saying, that's an easy way to fix the things. Not right this second, but we have a way to fix the holes in the battle.
Tomorrow, if we are using it as our base of operation, we can secure the keep again.
And make it bigger if you wish to.
I also don't have it prepared
Well,
because you kept yelling at me every time I used wall spells.
so you could do it tomorrow, yeah?
If I remember.
I'm sure that'll remind him.
Remind.
Genrick either has ADHD or short-term memory loss.
Genrick
You haven't determined yet.
To prepare Wall of Stone.
You believe that if you wait about an hour, the fog will have fully dissipated.
Okay, so we're in a fairly safe space now.
Mm.
Dimitri could fly in through the arrow slit if we wait.
Oh, no, okay. So once Dimitri closes the gate, you'll basically go over to the battlements and walk around the battlements to where the tower that you're in, and open the door into the room that you're in from the top of the battlement.
Cool. So technically we could take a short rest in here and the fog will probably dissipate in that time.
Okay,
Right,
so as you walk around on the battlements, you realise you're on the floor above them. And you find the null body up here.
I'll check it out just so they don't worry about it. So.
Strangely enough, he has a set of keys on him.
Okay. I'll pop the keys. Okay.
But obviously, you're sharing that with the rest of the group through the telepathic bond.
Why would you do that? You see, now we'll have pocket the keys. Next time he comes up the door, it'll be even easier for him to pick the lock.
While we're standing around, can I cast Healing Word, which is a bonus action technically, to heal myself a bit?
You can.
Okay. Who's rolling what today?
Well, technically, if you take your short rest... Oh, hang on.
I don't know if we're going to take a short rest yet.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. So that's great. So level up have been using hit dice doing that. I can't remember now.
Yeah, we can. I just don't know if we're going to.
Yeah,
You can spend an hour for a short rest to spend hit
You
dice.
can re-roll it. Well,
It still brings it up to 9 points, so that makes it 124 as opposed to 115. So, does Dimitri join us?
okay, so I'm actually a level up from them, am I?
You are, yes.
Does the tower that they're in go up onto the battlements then, and like there's a doorway from the battlements into that tower?
It does not. There seems to be only a door with a set of stairs that leads to the back of the keep.
Am I able to like walk down the stairs to the level that they're on there? Is that what you're saying?
That is what I'm saying, and you can do that fairly
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, I will walk down and then open the door. If it's locked, I will test out the set of keys. But yeah,
Decide to go back to town because then we
Yes.
would have been outside. I'm also sort of glad that I went outside so that we could find out.
Yeah, we would have found out at some point.
Okay. So yes, you do go through a little bit of a turnaround to find them. You can see the door with the burn marks on it fairly easily once you get down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Burn marks on the outside or the inside?
Well, it's from his side. He can see the burn marks.
So it's burnt through the door.
It's got a bit scorched. Okay.
You set the whole room on fire.
You walk past a room that has the symbols of a chapel on it to get to them.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I'm going to have a look at the chapel a couple of parts, obviously how. But if I walk towards them, I say, oh yeah, okay. That's it. I'll be there in a minute, like I said. But yeah, so he'll plan he'll do the evening exploring that we're doing on his way back to the party.
Okay, the chapel looks as if it was originally dedicated to a woman warrior, but has had a statue of a bloated demon with ram's horns put on the altar.
Okay. And do you recognise the original deity?
Hard to tell without some cleaning.
Okay.
But you're thinking it may be the Norse warrior goddess.
Okay, yeah.
Known
and he's confident.
Matarua or Lady Sif.
Okay. But he's confident that the replacement is Orcus.
He's sure it is Orcus.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, he can stay there for the time being. We'll deal with it in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then but nothing else of interest in the chapel?
Not without exploring.
We'll go and have a look around before on his way down. He's in no hurry.
Okay.
While he's doing that, are we short resting, or has he mentioned the chapel, or?
He said he got his way.
But Dimitri, on his way, I'll be there sometime tomorrow.
Just because of the case of he was on his way following you guys when you flew off over the beach the first time. So.
And you don't mention a chapel to Orcus.
Okay, look into there, yeah, okay. Heading on, Melbourne, go downstairs, there's a chapel here, seems to be medicated.
You say that?
Yeah, he'll do a thing to it.
Okay. Can I?
People wake up in the morning, they're all prepared for the idea of removing the influence of Orcus in the morning.
Can I open the door, go to the chapel?
You can open the door and go to the chapel. It's quite easy to open.
I'll probably tell these guys I'm going to the chapel. Okay, so I see all the same things, yeah.
You do see all the same things.
Can I pull out some of my holy water and splash it on the statue of Orcus?
You can.
Does anything happen?
Yes, it does. You can see the holy water burn.
But it doesn't do anything to...
It does seem to bubble and burn, but it doesn't seem to destroy the statue.
Okay.
We do it in the morning.
Can I see anything around the room that I recognize? Any other symbols of Orcus? Any... Do I recognize Lady Sif, being a Northern Reaches girl?
Yes, you do recognize her iconography very quickly.
Okay.
And it looks as if the room has been desecrated in the name of Orcus.
Do I know a way of purifying that?
Yes, there are quite a few clerical spells that do just that.
Do I know any of them?
Probably not. Do you have Consecrate?
I've got ceremony. I don't know what.
Ceremony is one way of doing it, yes. Just that it'll probably take you a long time.
Like, I'm willing to set up here and... I'm willing to set up here and start ceremony. I want to get rid of this as soon as possible. It's desecrating Lady Sith, and it's Orcus. Unless I've got... I don't know of any other spells. I don't think I've got Consecrate. I just don't know. I, as a player, do not know how to do this. I'm trying to find out what my character would know.
Let's see. I believe that is ceremony. Let me just check.
Like, I am happy to sit here and cast, like, keep concentration on ceremony for as long as I need to.
It is purification. But I believe it would be a high level spell to do so. Let me just quickly look at the clerical spells.
Like, I'm happy to cast it at a higher level. I'm happy to cast it at level 6.
Cleric spells.
Remembering ceremony takes an hour to cast and uses 25 gold worth of incense every time.
Yeah, I've got a ton of incense, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming a reasonable amount of time. I'm happy to keep concentration on it for as long as I need to.
Yeah, I don't know, it's not concentration, it's effectively a ritual that takes an hour to cast.
But I think I might have to, I don't know how I'd... It's a first level
Yeah,
spell,
right,
which
that
is
is
why I
first.
wasn't thinking of using it, but...
I'm happy to bodyguard someone who's trying to do
I just
ceremony.
don't know what else I could do for purification. Like, Magic Circle worked to get rid of the demon
Hallow
gate,
is the big purification
Hallow,
spell.
yeah.
which I don't have. What level
5th
is that?
level.
No. Too high level.
Does nobody else have Hallow?
George's Blossom. Because
It's the whole chapel has been desecrated. So just like destroying the statue isn't going to do anything. Bathing the room in holy water probably won't do anything either. I'm just trying to figure out if there's something I can do at this level.
Well, you could touch each thing and
Yeah,
cast
but the point being
purification on
that
Rite of purification and ceremony.
it's great.
So how many?
It's what Dimitri was saying.
How many things in the chapel? Like, I would target the things that show.
Technically, you can only
desecration.
do it on corpses or creatures.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
The point being that Dimitri's saying that, hey, you're not going to deal with it now. We're here exploring and working out how we can deal with things. Removing the influence of Orcus is not something you do with a click of a finger.
I know. I'm
Now that we've
searching my
found-
brain to figure
now
out
that
the
we've
best way to
found-
do it.
Scrubbing
Yeah, now that we've
and
found the first,
the angry, as they say, elbow-grease, as they say.
I'm happy to scrub. I want to get rid of this as soon as possible. I have time. I'm happy to let the rest of them investigate. I want to get rid of this.
the point is,
Ca-
if you had the Hallow spell takes 24 hours to cast.
Yeah, no.
Can I help?
Yes, people can help.
So if we just start scrubbing the desecration off.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
remember,
if you
Orcus
you
is
don't go down
one
that
of the
pathway,
enemies of my god, and his disciples are the focus of my slayer. I'm also worried, despite what she's saying to Dimitri, she is very worried about Orcus's influence over her magic. So she wants to get, in the state that she's in, she wants to get rid of this as soon as possible.
And I'm sure, as the devotee that you are, you would realise that simply running away from some radical paintings, even picking up and throwing the statue over the battlement somewhere else or smashing it, is not going to instantaneously remove the influence of Orcus in this location.
Can I roll a religion check to say
It's going to be weeks of work.
if I know anything that will help?
Yeah, you can make a religion check.
If I can assist, I've got proficiency as well.
I also have
You could make a roll yourself.
a specialization in fiends.
That won't help in this case.
Okay.
Generally, you're not trying to dedicate to a fiend.
No.
Anyway, Dimitri's looking around there for the chapel. Is there actually anything of interest in there?
There's my cleric die.
Red or anything like that kind of stuff?
Nothing.
Or any other exits or
Ability check, saving.
It's a-
passages?
Only got one room into it that you can tell, but give me an investigation as you look for secrets.
For me, religion is wisdom because my wisdom is
That's
my
fine.
religion.
You just wisdom it can be the base of it, as can intellect. It's just whichever one you choose, you generally say.
I got 22 for me.
And was yours intellect or wisdom?
Good question. Hang on a second. That was intellect.
Yeah, I
Okay.
got a 15.
So on a 15, you know of many rites of prayers, of gifts to the gods, and appeasement ceremonies that you can do that take about a week or so per attempt. And Dauphin does remember that higher level clerics can do in a day what most other clerics spend a week doing.
But do I know what they have to do or not really?
Yeah, cast the hell spell.
You basically assume the hello spell is what they use, but you don't really watch them do the work. It just seems to happen around them as they're doing their ritual.
Okay, yep.
It's very hard to watch someone straight for 24 hours. Most people fall asleep. Especially as the chanting just seems to be the same words over and over again.
Do I know if those rites of prayers or whatever needs a week of constant, like would I get rest in that?
You would expect about roughly 8 hours a day dedicated to it.
I'm willing to do that. If these guys want to, like if we spend a week here exploring, fixing, whatever, I am happy to spend 8 hours like every day for a week praying to get rid of Orcus's influence here.
Well, that might be after you've actually done all the work of cleaning the place up and removing all the obvious influences, like all the statue, all the markings.
Yeah, no, look, if you guys are willing to stay here long enough, like, Hildren is currently fixated.
And I believe the others want to use it as a base of operations, so yes, they do want to cleanse Orcus of this place.
Yes.
So while a couple of you are helping clean, I believe Dimitri's
Ready to do an investigation.
looking around for stuff. You don't find any secrets in that room, but as you're exploring the top level, you do find a bedroom that whoever dedicated the temple obviously slept in, because there's lots of signs of Orcus written in crude goblin on the walls.
Okay.
As well as a iron chest that seems to be locked.
Well, take a look at that.
Does it seem like a main bedroom type?
It's basically the master bedroom of the keep. on the opposite side of the top floor.
15, 24 on perception.
Okay, having a look at
it.
it.
Roll of 5 with my advantage.
Looking at it, it does not seem to be trapped. It seems to be well made, and it does look as if the goblins have tried to pick it on more than one occasion. You can see quite a few broken picks in it.
Okay. I will use these picks to actually pull out the remains of the other pick, and then I'll attempt to use the keys from the door first of all.
By the looks of things, they have filed bones down to use as picks.
Okay. Can I manage to pick them out?
Not a problem.
Okay. And then I will go through the keys and just see if the door. Look at the keys people likely want to work.
None of the keys are designed for this box.
Okay. Then I will attempt to pick the lock with my picks. Uh, 16, 30.
Okay, it pops open, and inside you see what appears to be a set of elven clothing, a small little pouch with tied up with a silver necklace, which also seems to be elven in design, and a book with the title Maybeth Calaelen in Elvish.
Do I know what made it? Well, I can read out a look, but is that meaning in translation, or is that like a Latin name?
That is the translation.
What's the
Right, okay.
It's called Maybeth Calaelen. So MaybethCalaelen.
Are any of the items magical?
None of them seem magical.
Okay. Yeah, I suggest it's Dimitri with his arcane study of spell study of arcane objects can determine if the item is magical by touch.
And
getting in.
you realise that the inside of the box is a lot smaller than the outside of the box.
Okay. Well, we will carefully take the belongings out and then do the check for false walls, false bottom, that stuff.
Okay, give me another investigate check.
Page 23, 22.
Okay, so you managed to find the buttons inside the chest to open the bottom drawer outside the chest. And inside of it you see 2 golden bars. Fairly large.
Yeah.
Each
Are they
way.
magical?
Not magical. Not magical, but you think the bars are worth at least 200 gold each.
Okay. Okay.
And the book appears to be the castle owner's journal on their exploration of the Mouth of Doom and Rapanathak.
Yeah, okay. Well, Dimitri's certainly happy to be reading through that for a little while. So he'll put the bar of gold aside along with the other raiment. Is the old clothing male or masculine or feminine?
It is feminine.
Yeah, okay.
And it does note that it was the owner. It does say that the Mouth of Doom and it's relatively safe in comparison to the sunken graveyard that is the main entrance of Rapanathak.
So Mouth of Doom is safer.
Is relatively safer than the graveyard itself, which is the main entrance.
Like the diary contain a map of the area or sketches of where they've visited or where they've gone through?
It does not, but you can give me 4 percentile rolls of potential rumours that you also get.
While he's doing that, how much was the gold bars worth?
200 each.
Kevin?
Okay, so 7. What's the next one?
75.
Third one,
39.
and the fourth one.
94.
Okay, so the first rumour you get out is Orcus put a curse on the complex when he built it. Any that disturb his temple will become slaves of darkness, never to return. The second one is the adventurers who uncovered the ruined keep are in fact brigand tomb robbers.
Is it talking about or is it imply which ruined keep they're talking about?
It does not say. It may be the one you're in.
Okay. Well, they've got to clarify that.
And the third one is a powerful adventuring group called the Dancing Blades were slain in the dungeon. Their restless spirits now wander the halls, attacking anyone they come across with their phantom weapons. And the last one is Repentathak. No one ever gets out of that place alive.
Helpful.
Additionally, it also mentions the wealth of the healers deep within the mouth of doom.
The wealth of the healers.
The wealth of the healers, yes. Money, wealth. With one final entry in shaky handwriting compared to the rest. Having recovered from our tragic loss, it is my stern opinion that no quest nor threat will convince me to descend into the well.
Right.
Well, again.
Also helpful.
Yes. Well, and also we have no idea how accurate or truthful they are, because, I mean, obviously, but reading this book, because obviously, and they provided this information as effectively rumours she's heard, or these appear to be her specific observances of events that she's witnessed.
You believe they're rumours she's heard.
Good, yeah.
Much like
Except
rumours
about
you've heard.
their loss. That one seems to be...
There was 4 rumours, and the rest of it was her interactions.
Yeah, she'll never go back down the well. How old is this? How old is writing? How long?
Just reading it up now. Okay, so... The writings probably date back before the founding of Zalkor's Ferry. And that means it may be a couple of 100 years old.
Okay.
Probably still within the lifetime of an elf, but not within the lifetime of anyone else, you don't think?
And you mentioned that the "Don't Go Down the Well" was written in a shaky hand.
Yep.
Did you say that was the last entry?
That was the final entry of the diary.
In the lead up to that entry, is it implying the fact that he was about to try and go on another expedition down there, or?
No, there is no entry. Basically, you believed she failed going down the well and had a huge loss, and obviously didn't recover from it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out where she's gone, having left behind her diary and some personal belongings. The idea that she's been locked down to a Panathak because she tried one more adventure, one more run at it. Presumably not by the well.
Well, it sort of describes her planning going down places, but there's no planning after that last entry.
Yeah, but okay. The implication being that they went down the well, but some of them came back. Her, maybe she was the only one, and then
She never lived long enough to say anything else in the diary.
yeah, okay.
Just cooling the place down a bit. Okay, so other things.
And otherwise, it's quite a nice test, was it?
It is quite a nice chest.
Okay.
With
We
it,
will put the test into one of his bags of holding.
mhm. And you find the room you haven't explored yet. Looks like it used to be servant quarters, but the goblins were using it as their sleeping area.
Mm-hmm.
Broke all the internal walls. So it's just one long room, maybe someone else's room now.
Yeah.
Is that a Tiamat?
Yep, that is a Tiamat.
Okay.
Ariadne's favourite plush toy now.
Except she's not going chromatic, she's going metallic.
Okay, and the next morning, while the rest of you are cleaning, those who explore find that there are some other surprises out here. One of the towers that had the roof collapsed in on was where the gnolls had set themselves up.
Mm-hmm.
Next to it was where they were sleeping. And inside you did find a scroll of Hold Monster.
So we've had a long rest? Or?
You'll have had a long rest.
Yep.
Wall of stone.
I heard Wall of Fire. And Polymorph.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The intent now is that we are spending some time here. We are going to rebuild it and make it into a secure location. Finish exploring everything while repairing the walls.
My way of helping that is a week of praying and ritual to try and get rid of Orcus's influence.
Well, presumably at least there's probably at least a day of cleaning and stuff to do in there before you start praying.
Yeah, so we're talking 8 days at least.
And okay, so thank you for doing spend the day doing the exploration, make certain there's no other surprises within the key.
You do find in one of the outside rooms a bunch of ponies in the room next to the bathhouse.
Are they alive?
Yeah, they are. The doors were shut.
Cool.
And in a room next to them, a
How many ponies?
store 3.
Mhm.
A store of hay and oats.
That's useful.
A couple of frozen rats in here, though.
How do they freeze them?
Well, the rats look like they were in the process of eating the food when they froze.
Okay. Right, gotcha.
And the last room you come across is the smithy with a goblin working the forge, ignoring everyone completely.
G'day.
He's just hammering away on things, looking like he's making goblin-sized armor and weaponry.
Alright.
Seems quite happy.
Well,
Did we hear him working through the night, or was he sleeping in the forge?
Well, he was sleeping in the forge for most of that, and you basically noticed him the next morning.
but does he have anyone that he's making things for?
Well, he's making it for the occupants of the keep.
Right. Of course.
He's actually written up as that oblivious to what's happening outside. As long as he's got his forge and things to make, he's happy.
So can we get him to make stuff outside?
If you ask.
Or have a look at the quality of what he's making and see if it's worth making your size.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering if we can readjust him. If he's if he's the keep, if he values his job as helping to protect the keep, does it matter that the keep is in new hands?
Right, I mean, I guess that's the first thing is, when we meet him, or when he's found out, we hear the hammering in the forge and people go and investigate, assuming that people don't immediately kill the goblin or call down lightning upon it, or...
I'm in the temple,
Eldritch blast it, or...
Well, it would most likely be Dimitri, Dauphin, and Genric who found it, because Trellin did say he was helping with the cleansing of the temple.
That's right.
Okay, yeah. Well, the other one is that I've been recommending Calaelen actually take the farmer back on his carpet today. So.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
I was going to say I can help children, since technically I've got an acolyte background, so I know how to do religious ceremonies and stuff.
I fix 100 feet off the wall.
Elbow grease is what's needed for the first 24, 48 hours, I suspect.
Oh, well, I'll look around the castle. I'll help look around for the first 24 to 48 hours, then I'll help.
I can fix up to 100 feet per casting.
Okay. So assuming the goblin is not killed on sight, Dimitri will talk to the goblin about what he does, like assuming the goblin is actually responding to direct convocation or call. Dimitri will ask you and say, okay, what you're working on, have you going, have a look at the quality of workmanship, find out whether or not he's happy to keep working and or make other things if feasible. But
well, you see that the things he has made so far are of poor quality, but they seem to be work in progresses, not finished products.
Yeah.
And not surprising, he seems to be learning as he makes.
Okay. Okay, well, Dimitri's got no use for the forge himself at the present time, so he's happy to have the goblin working in there if he wants to keep working.
And you do notice much of the furniture from the keep has been converted into forge fuel.
Well,
as well as most of the metal fittings of the keep.
Did we find... Did you guys found a whole set of firewood, didn't you? Yeah. Or did they all burn?
They found a bunch of building material that they burned. You could probably reuse the rest of it as firewood.
Yeah. Well, no, certainly, if the forge does not have the appropriate supplies to maintain without further depleting supplies from the castle, then the goblin will get to stop working for a while, and until we can resupply the forge and give him something to play with.
You do notice he has a bed in there, as well as quite a nice looking hammer that looks like it's more suitable to a larger creature.
Okay.
But he seems to be wielding it one-handed, no problem. He does say his name is Gorbaz.
Right.
Gorbaz.
He's entitled to a name.
He likes to hit things. Which means he should be in here.
He's either very, very strong, or the hammer is magic. So we're basically doing 8 days downtime
You can do 8 days downtime.
with a list
Well-
of chores.
So to me, the first bit will be if we've got a place that's set up and it's going to be a stronghold effectively, which is good. He'll correct the continuing on wall of stone to secure the walls.
Probably only take you about 4 days to do all the walls back to height.
I mean, does the wall stone require much of the materials or components that can get consumed?
The components don't get consumed, but he needs a cube of granite.
I'd assume you'd have it.
Well, no, it's a block of granite that doesn't get consumed.
Unless it says it's consumed, the granite never does. It's like the equivalent of having a lot of the fight magical components can be in a little glass tube, and you just pull out the one you're using each time. That's all you really need to use most of the magic. I've got a named goblin who says he has a stat block, but it doesn't tell me where.
Yeah, that's right.
Yay for things that you. That's why I spent the last 10 minutes looking for his stat block.
So Gorbaz doesn't seem to mind that Keep's ownership has changed.
He doesn't care as long as he gets to make things.
Does he seem, not that I'm Hildren's down there, but as a player I'm asking, does he seem amenable to adjusting what he's making to suit our needs as opposed to making more goblin-sized stuff?
He's more than happy to make things for whoever supplies him with the material and the stuff to burn.
At some point over the first couple of days or something like that, Dimitri will aim to just confirm with the hammer that he's using is actually magical or not, or whether it's just a well-made smithy hammer.
It's a well-made hammer, and it's not magical.
Even the kid have to be the hammer before that something like that. You're quite happy to get playing with that. What's something big to one?
If I'm praying 8 hours a day, I don't need the other 16 hours to sleep. Can I also be going out, like, during the day to the edges of the forest, getting wood and any sort of animals, forage, whatever?
You can, yes.
So I'm getting wood for the forge and for the, like, I'm just collecting as much as I can, collecting supplies.
You do occasionally come across the frozen animal.
Do I find any animals that aren't frozen?
You do find signs of them, but most of them seem to scamper away when people come close. Seems they've learnt to bury themselves.
So, forage, a couple of frozen animals.
All the fruits have a strange sort of taste to them. Fruits and berries.
Can one of the days I do detect poison or disease on it?
Doesn't seem to be poisonous
Okay.
or diseased.
Seems okay.
Just has a bit of the flavour leached out of it.
Okay.
As do the animals you capture. Well, the frozen ones anyway. It tastes like paste.
That's what the spices are for.
So how far are we actually from the golf course period at the moment?
You would be about half a day.
Half a day. Via the carpet or via walking?
You could get there faster by the carpet.
Right, okay. Good, yeah. So basically, after the first 24, 48 hours type stuff, when we've cleared confirmed the house, the keep is otherwise now unoccupied, except by people we know about,
It's 4 miles, So you could probably do that in about an hour on the carpet.
Yeah, okay. And that's cool. Okay. Well, it is certainly a convenient distance to get to and from in a day without darkness, things like that. But yeah, Dimitri's then going to be spending the time while Hildren's trying to clean the chapel. Obviously, Dimitri's taken over the bedroom above the chapel. That was without saying obviously.
Slightly burnt room that's near the chapel.
But then once one of the other rooms has been cleaned out of the goblin stench and effect, was the floor in the room that Dimitri actually came up originally, like flew over originally, is that actually effectively workable solid floor?
It is workable solid floor. It's just the ground floor below had wood paneling all over it, and the wood paneling was over the stone. So technically, you rip up the wood paneling and it's stone underneath.
You're at ground floor, yeah. Okay, so but basically, yeah, he'll be looking for one of the rooms. There's a space where he can start going to do the appropriate rooms and portalology and teleportation circle type stuff. To actually, if he can get up a teleport circle back to back to West Queensland.
Would you rather do that in the basement, or would you do that in the one of the external towers once they're fixed?
As I said, like you've got to pick an appropriate location. Right? Like when I was asked about when I know about the floor, that many times I was wondering, oh, hang on, yes. Did it work out that was there anything under that that roof? Was a good part of the first in my head. But yeah, he's basically having worked out good places in the tower. People have worked out where their barracks are going to be, kitchen facilities, dining facilities, all that sort of thing.
And one of the rooms you hadn't actually gone into is a locked library.
Ah, yeah.
It's the only one that actually had an iron door on it, because you had to clear to be able to go between the top floor and the bottom floor without using the towers. The stairwell had been blocked by rubble, so.
Oh, okay, right.
Which was basically a couple of days clearing.
In that case, then that'll delay the commencement of the teleportation circle probably a bit longer by does the key work for the library?
The key does work on the library.
Okay. Dimitri will going to be going and having a good look at the library and seeing if there's what sort of volumes are there and how many bit them could guys and if there's any particularly history or information about the Manapar.
Well, they do have some history books focusing on the noble families and their aristocracy. Meaning you think it relates to the Shadow Elven aristocracy.
Okay. Well, obviously, yes. Dimitri will certainly be interested in that sort of stuff, but that's not necessarily focus of study right now. But if they're book you haven't read, you're certainly going to want to get read them in the future.
And you'll also be able to gain a couple of scrolls when you go through it, but nothing you can't read fast.
That's fine. Because obviously, from the Dimitri perspective, there's a history of information about the area where you currently are and the Palatak, but also, if you get the teleport circle working, well then, hey, all the books can go back to his library anyway, and he can read them at his leisure.
Okay, so Dimitri was helping guide Genric, doing exploration and focusing on teleportation circle. Hildren is supplies and prayer rites for the chapel. What is everybody else doing?
I'm cleaning out the chapel.
That'll only take a day.
But they certainly the rest of the force, the rest of the keep all going to be cleaned out and tidied up.
You could basically spend the week cleaning while she's doing the various rights.
Yeah.
And he talks about the sort of thing that Calaelen would also be useful for doing the supply run back to Golf Course Ferry if there's anything that we specifically want from there.
Yeah.
Having returned the farm over.
That is. We can travel to the village about an hour each way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, cool.
Yeah.
Genrick, after you finished the walls?
So I can do...
Which would explain why Southcourse Ferry has a big wall with a gate.
Yep.
Because you don't think the fog goes over the water.
So I can do about 200 feet of wall each day. And then...
But that's only a few feet, a few inches thick, isn't it?
Yeah, 6. So with each cast of the spell, I get 10 10-foot by 10-foot panels that need to be connected to each other.
Yeah.
Which are 6 feet thick, or I can...
15 inches.
Yeah, sorry. 6 inches thick, not 6 feet.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously, it's not like this earlier we're trying to make the wall as strong as they used to be. It would have been kind of better if they were already there. But
I'm so glad we don't... In the morning, Hildren has attuned the Ring of Mind Shielding.
Yep.
And is just completely ignoring Dimitri. As I said, she's fixated.
Right. We're not going anywhere. He's not going to follow the telepathic bond.
Mind Shielding would interfere with, like, the rites of prayer or anything like that.
But yeah, so if people are happy with the idea of a week of repairs, cleaning, getting up a place, then we'll find out whether or not we can actually use the teleportation base or not. Otherwise, it would be a nice thing to get for the people around.
So, Dofan, you said you were going to help me with the rites?
Yeah. I'll help with that.
We've got the other factory, as soon as we can get the teleportation circle, do you know any high-level quests that could actually place it while we're there?
But how long will the teleportation circle take?
Though you can bring Drazzle back to the keep.
And he's a high-level cleric. Would he be willing to do...
General, he's more than happy to dedicate anything to the dragon gods.
Yeah, no. This is saying a Lady Sif thing. Or it's turning into a Zerchev. Either way. So Drazzle comes back with us?
Drazzle's happy to come back with you now that you're the place.
Okay. Do we get effective teleportation or phase teleportation? Because you're going to be testing it a few times with inanimate objects and random critters before trying to actually send any people, particularly him.
You'd expect the basement would be the best place to do the teleportation circle. So yes, you could literally do it down there.
Yep.
And you could literally set it up in one of the cells, so if someone else was to come through, they're stuck in a cell.
Yep. And also having to stop other people getting to it if the inadvertently messing up the rooms in future. But the important part is he can actually get an effective teleportation at that point.
He can, as long as he sets up a unique set of rooms.
Yep. Happy with that.
So he can connect it. Will it last?
With the portalologist, yes.
And how will it take
you've
us
also
out?
got the runologist as well, Jeremy?
Yeah. Double check.
Because the secret craft of runes can do permanent runes.
Yeah. Yes.
So this is now connected to Dimitri's stronghold.
Or dialable
the
by
point
having
is
you
that-
rest the runes.
Like in the case that Dimitri has made a teleportation circle that he can connect to from his other teleportation circle type stuff.
Okay.
His most common one, of course, is his home one in his domain, but he's got a couple of sequences that he knows of.
Does the chef come with Drazzle?
He does come with Drazzle.
That'll help. Help with the food at the very least.
He's happy to bring some of his friends over if you create if he goes back to Karamikos.
Well, that's a Dimitri thing.
Basically,
anytime I'm not working on the chapel, I am out finding supplies. And
he does know quite a few halflings who would love to explore and have a safe haven to rest in. There's a river here. Of course, they need halfling pirates. They don't already have halfling pirates. They need halfling pirates.
So, Dimitri, you're letting them access the teleportation circle to get other halflings?
Yeah, well, technically, if someone were to study the circle, I'm sure they could then use it for their own teleportation circle spells if they wanted to.
I don't.
But that can't release them having it as a spell, so therefore we've got some control over it. But also, Dimitri's perfectly happy to allow others to confirm the working of the teleportation circle without error or things like that before the beacon, right?
Would the chef know a cleric who could come and do the Hallow spell?
Possibly, but most of them would want to dedicate it to the halfling pantheon.
Again, not happening.
Well, Freya is part of the halfling pantheon.
Except Freya. I like the Viking gods and Zerchev. I would prefer Zerchev. Is there a cleric of Zerchev in Karamikos that we know of?
There would be quite a few clerics of Zerchev.
Could we get in contact with a cleric of Zerchev?
You'd have to ask Dimitri.
Could I contact the Vialian elves?
Not as easily from Dimitri's place.
Okay. Dimitri, do you know a cleric of Zerchev who we could get to come and help us?
Absolutely, I can get a cleric here to cleanse the spirit of Orcus out.
That would be lovely.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I would like it to be Zerchev or one of the Northern Reaches gods.
Okay, so...
Okay. Obviously, Ragdoll is the first one that Dimitri's thinking of.
No!
Hey, you're out hunting.
I'm spending 8 hours a day in the chapel.
Yeah.
Well, hey, after a week, you would have dedicated it to Zerchev.
Excellent.
No, well, okay. It's also got in there. It's not like Dimitri would force or even encourage Ragdoll to do it. Because, hey, whichever cleric you encourage to try and pass the hell out, well, they might expect Dimitri to pay. It's a good idea.
So, by the end of the week, we have a chapel to Zerchev.
Mm-hmm.
And... Okay. That's not necessarily gonna... If we decide to start the war, I'd probably try and find other... work on cleansing the whole keep, not just the chapel, but I figure the chapel was the first step to that.
Well, it was the only one that was technically desecrated. The others were just befouled.
Mm.
So would I know if that help? If there would I know, or could I have spent some of my time not in the chapel, looking for ways to reduce, if not eliminate, Orcus's foothold on the keep?
Basically, it'd just be a lot of cleaning
Okay.
and repairing. You've got people putting walls back, you've got people scrubbing, you've got people ignoring everyone else, reading books.
So the keep now is a stronghold of Zerchev.
Well, the chapel would be a stronghold of Zerchev, not the keep.
Yeah. so the keep is not Orcus. Like there's no sense of Orcus. Like if I'm going around, I don't.
Well, you'd probably get a sense of Orcus in the region,
But not from here. Like
Yeah, and that question I was going to ask for obviously Dimitri and or Draggle or other players coming in. Can they sense what Orcus' influence being diminished in the area and or pushed out away from the keep at all, and whether or not that has any influence on less controlled teleportation, like dimension door type stuff, or phase steps and things.
they would pretty much say that the as long as you've built a unique teleportation circle, you can connect to it. The problem is connecting to a place you don't know well means you're not going to connect to anything here.
Yeah, but the idea of like dimension doors, which is like the teleportation effect on the short range, they're still going to be uncontrolled, even to and from or within the keep.
You would expect it to have problems even here. Because you don't have a firm target. Everything here is blanketed by the grounds of Orcus.
Yeah.
Before I say the last thing I want to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
Dofan, Trellin, and Genrick, do you guys have anything else unique you want to do, or are you just focused on cleaning and restoring and repairing and setting up?
Yeah, I think mostly focused on that, but
Yep.
if there's any spare time, probably poking around just to see if there's anything we've missed. And like,
One of you does find a magic shield in a collapsed tower. The reason you know it's magic is everything else in the tower was destroyed, but the shield survived.
Oh, we're going to say next year when someone actually goes and looks at the armor with their eyes open.
Cool. Then the last thing I
Does
want
the Grassel or any of the other priests or things like that have any comment or advice or information about the nightly mist?
Drowsel does put it down to his don't go out at night.
Yes.
Shut the doors.
Yeah.
And if they knock, go down.
Confirming that it's an undead influence.
I mean, I could do primeval awareness on one of the days, but while the mist is up.
You do believe it's undead oriented.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'd definitely be interested in a magic shield if anyone else didn't.
I'm
Or doesn't mind.
not a shield bearer.
Did Dofan want a light, medium, heavy, or tower shield?
Without looking up exactly what the differences are, probably light or medium. Something to keep my dexterity.
Just don't say not to use the shield at all. Like, is he got a shield at the moment?
Proficient, but I don't have one on my sheet.
Okay.
So basically, you'll be able to do different things. Look up the shields in the Adventurer's Guide or on the A5E tools, and that will tell you what the shields do, because different weapons can allow you to use a shield with them, and the type of shield is important. Like longswords work with up to medium shields, but not heavy or tower.
I figured
Right.
Trellin
They work
doesn't
well
have
enough
to
medium,
like
but they have
so he
hidden the
doesn't
effect.
have a shield.
Yeah, two long swords.
And Genrick?
Genrick hasn't really used any melee weapons the entire time.
Yes, you have. They're called rats.
He gave away his last melee weapons to Dimitri's nephew.
And AJ's
I still didn't
not here
actually
to
get a
claim.
clarification on that.
Yeah, and AJ's not here to claim. So if we've got nothing else, the last thing I'd like to do, when I feel that the temple is secure and consecrated and all that sort of stuff, I would like to commune with Zerchev.
Okay, so we'll have that happen next session.
Sweet.
So remember, you want to commune with him because as we're on 10:30 and Martin has to go shortly,
Yeah.
I thought I would say, unless you have any other questions, we will wrap it up there with potentially going into the Mouth of Doom next session now that you have set yourself up a base.
Yes.
Does anyone want to add anything for the recording besides the wanting to commune with Zerchev next session?
I'm assuming I got nothing interesting in my visions.
Well, obviously this starts to become the next test of the Dimension Domain.
Yes,
We
totally
shall-
going to be Dimitri's.
We shall see.
Totally not going to become
Yeah.
one of Hildren's safe spaces.
Little did any of them notice that every time Genrick fixed a wall, he wrote owned by Genrick on it.
Okay.